Yeah. This is the first discussion of 2024. In the cover page, we have two mice, and they just got engaged. I like to think that's 2023 on the left side and 2024 on the right side.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting interpretation. You want to
Yeah,
hear mine?
yeah. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, wait. First, um, when you draw mice, right? How random? Like I feel like with pigs it's more often, but like with the tails, the swirling, how crazy is that? It's just like a. It does it feel a little bit like Oda might have specifically done something there.
Nah, I like it. I mean,
Okay.
well, with pigs, yeah, you're right. Like pigs have like the swirly corkscrew tail, but I
Yeah,
feel
with
like for
mice
mice,
it's like
it just looks good. It's an aesthetic. They just tied the
okay,
knot. It's like, nah,
okay,
dude, it's cute. It's cute. And
okay.
plus, I'm trying to imagine it if it was straight, and it
Yeah.
would look kind of cursed.
It was funny because I opened up my stream and I was just like, you know, not rehashing, summarizing like what happened in the new year or whatever, all the stuff. And
Yeah.
I told you most of it, but also it was me and my wife just celebrated our 6 year anniversary, our marriage anniversary. And so
Oh,
and then I opened this up and I was like, no way, Oda drew like a wedding engagement type of thing. And then I was like, it's not meaningful. And then I forget what happened. It was either me because I was like, I'm sick. It was either me or someone in the chat, but like the tails, if you spin it, it says 6. And I was like, no way, it's 6 years
my
for the
God.
thing.
Isn't this
And
like one
then
of those phenomenon where you're just more likely to see human faces, like in the dark or something? You're just kind of
uh
seeing what you want to see. Like it
I
just
mean,
sticks out.
that's what I said, and then the people in the chat like, wait, hold on, that is kind of interesting. Like the mice tails,
They're
the mice,
gaslighting you. Whoa, Park, check this out, brother.
yeah,
Look at the 6.
because like the mice
I
tails
love
was
that.
like, I was like, wait, like mice tails, they don't usually draw them like super long
Oh,
and
that's so
swirly like
funny.
this, and then because like with dogs, you draw them like wagging,
I
but
love
like
that, dude.
Tom and Jerry, I don't know, I just like a mouse
The
thing. I feel like
energy in your live chat, like they're such solid supporters. I can't even
that's
hate
what I'm
it. You know what?
saying.
Hey, it's a
That's what I'm
6, man. I
saying.
see.
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
sixes over here. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and then
Wow.
I
No,
immediately
that's
brought it
awesome.
down. I immediately brought it down and I said, "Hey, but this could also be the sapphire crystal and it could relate to like my 5 year cancer anniversary, which is also coming up."
Oh, the other. I forgot what collab it was. I talked about giving you a little necklace
Yeah,
if you
I
survive
know. Yeah,
cancer. It
yeah,
could be
yeah.
me on the right side giving you a cancer survivor badge. Par,
Damn,
you
dude.
finally did it. You're alive.
Just
That'll be
just
hilarious.
dig up the little bit of cancer I have left, you know?
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
guess I guess you haven't survived yet, so like, I have time to like save up the money, but yeah, I
Oh
got
my
you.
God. Yeah, you gotta save up big time. You know how much a cancer ring costs?
Yeah, I'm
Oh
just
my
gonna get
God.
you a ring pop. I'm so cheap. Hey, you did
It's
it,
a
buddy.
ring pop. Oh my
Another day
God.
of suffering.
Yo, I miss ring pops. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go find a ring pop one of these days now.
You like
I'm
ring
not.
pops?
I feel like they were nostalgic, but I feel like it's one of those things that
Nostalgic,
I
but they
try.
weren't good.
Well, see, it's been like 20 years, and so it's like, you know what
Fair,
I mean? Like I'm gonna try it and be like, yeah, it's whatever. I feel like
dude.
I always remembered it like dripping down into my hands because I forgot about it.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
bad design. Like, I don't know who remembers ring pops in here, but it was just like a ring you put on, and it has like this little platform, and it has like this diamond, quote, diamond jewel, but it's actually just candy, and you're supposed to suck your ring for the
yeah,
flavor. And it doesn't make
yeah,
any sense because the platform is supposed to guard your finger from getting sticky, but in reality, it would just drip all over your finger in a wider radius. It just
yeah.
didn't make any sense.
They
But it
should
was cool
have made
though.
it
It was
a
cool.
cup or like it had like a rim or something, just a little bit of
Yeah.
a buffer before it
Ooh,
fell.
a rim, and then it attaches to a straw that leads to the ground. So that it
It
would
was
just
just a
leak into the
gutter
ground.
system.
Yeah. Hey, it would keep my fingers clean.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Ring
dang,
Pop,
rig
if you're
pops.
listening, take notes.
Is that company still around? No, we're getting so sidetracked. Is the company still around though?
They
ring
definitely are. I've
pops.
definitely seen. Yup.
Oh, they are. They switched candy though. Like they still do ring pops, but they're just really honed in on the shape.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
starting to sell just the pop shape now rather than the ring attached to it.
Shout outs to them though. Shout outs to them. Staying
Yeah.
in business
Wow.
this long with one product, crazy.
That's so
They're probably
sad.
they're probably owned by something else. Let's be real. Like there's
Yeah,
no
they have
way.
to be.
If life was that easy, I think
Yeah, they just never changed their design. That would be so sad.
yeah, I would rethink so much
Go
of life.
home, Grandpa.
That's the equivalent of like the rock pet, the guy who became like a multimillionaire like like a few days.
Oh
That guy's
yeah,
still
yeah.
being in business selling rock pets. Like to be fair, that's probably better than ring pop. I'm not-
A little bit, yeah. At least that one involves your imagination.
yeah, yeah.
So this
Speaking
cover
of
page.
imagination,
Yeah, speaking of imagination, minus Oda sending you a message about your 6th anniversary. What else did you get from this cover page, Par?
no, that was it. I was just like, yeah, we're done with
That
this.
was it. It was just you.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
cool,
I was
cool,
sitting
cool.
there, I was just like, how many times is there a cover story about weddings? And I feel like the only one that came to mind was the Shanks one. And then I was like, let's move on. Because the entire time I was trying to remember what like last chapter, whatever, and I remembered how big of a chapter this was, where like in every stream in the break, I asked the same question to everybody: what happens with the punch? That's the word for word. And then it got hit by this. I wasn't gonna get derailed by like what wedding stuff. That's crazy. So then I moved on.
Man, I got
Yeah.
derailed by this. I'm not gonna lie. I
What did
think
you?
I made like a 5-minute conversation just about this cover page.
Oh, 5 minutes isn't derailing. That's just
I mean, yeah, I mean
for
for
the
me it's
course.
derailing, I
Oh,
I
yeah,
like to
yeah.
keep it simple as short, but I
Yeah,
looked up
yeah.
at the timer and I said, yo, 5 minutes passed. I'm just talking about mice.
No
Uh
way you time yourself. You don't time. Oh,
I
yeah,
time
for your like
myself.
your
Yeah.
channel, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like to keep things pretty concise, but lately I've been loosening the bolts a little bit. I've just
Yeah,
been
yeah.
rambling.
Loosey goosey over here.
And the reason why, if anybody wonders why I ramble more on my channels now and I'm preferring that kind of content, it's because one, YouTube's messed me up so much I don't really care anymore. And two, on the side, that's the content I just enjoy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
whenever I'm just like chilling, that's usually what I listen to. But from this, I'm like, yo, like the mice could be Sanji and the other one could be Pudding. I don't know. Because the mice, the one on the right, he's wearing Sanji's suit. That's why I'm
Okay.
kind of like leaning towards that. But I guess he's just wearing a classic tux.
It's wearing a French, the double-breasted specifically. You could see the other
Yeah.
side, So Sanji's Baratier fit. So
Yeah, it's the Baratier fit. And it's like maybe we see Pudding pretty soon, which I mean, we have to see Pudding. It's not like a if we'll see her, like we will see her by the end of the series. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll see them sooner rather than later. Or maybe there's actually a 6 enlaced in the tails and we'll see her in 6 months.
yeah,
Or maybe
it
6
is-
years. You never know.
That's not Pudding's hair though. The main
It's not.
distinguisher is the
not.
hair, and that's actually Ginny's hair when she was introduced.
I
Or
wouldn't even say
Bonnie.
it's Ginny. The back of the hair just throws me off so hard. But then again, it's a mouse. I mean, like,
Yeah.
like maybe if I like lobotomize her and give her like a regular human-sized head, it'll look more like Ginny. But yeah, it could be a couple of people. It could even be Monet.
Why would you
Not
need to
Monet.
lobotomize? Okay, hold on.
Because the back of the head of the mouse is like so big. You know what I mean?
well, no, that's a ponytail.
Is that a ponytail? How
Yeah,
can you tell?
it ends right there, and then the right behind the big ears where the ponytail is.
Okay,
And
now
it
you're
popped out.
just using imagination. Like,
No, I'm not. That's literally
brother,
it's
that's
right
imagination.
there.
No, it could just be like a big tuchus behind her,
It's,
and then the hair's just naturally
not.
falling down.
No, it's not. That's not a
Oh,
natural.
brother, I don't know, man. Look at the mouse on the right. He has a big head.
No, it's the same size head. Look at the where
Dude.
look at where the head stops on the ear, right? Look
Okay.
at the front ear, right? You go like maybe a third of the way there. You do the same thing on the girl mouse. You go like a little bit,
Dude, I
and
don't
then
know,
that's where the head
man.
is. And then right behind that third, or like on the girl mouse, is even smaller. That's where the ponytail starts.
This could be a xenomorph, and you just don't know it. Like you. You're using your imagination for all the wrong things, Par.
I'm using the
how can you
proportion.
see a 6 in the tails, but you can't see an oblong head?
I'm looking at using the same proportions on the other side. What do you mean?
All right, guys, you need to settle this debate once and for all. Is it a ponytail or is it naturally falling hair? I would love to hear those opinions.
This is the one time I think your chat is gonna be on my side, and then there's gonna be a few people who
The
just
one time.
they're just gonna agree with you because it's you and I'm me. They're gonna be like, yep. That's an oblong, whatever it's Hey Arnold at this point. Like,
Hey Arnold, football head, xenomorph, alien, PT looking creature. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
Oda
I just noticed?
Draw.
Toshika Zoo. I feel like in the past couple of weeks, this is like their second or third cover request. Have you noticed that?
What does that mean? What do you think that means?
Toshika Zoo is very loved by Oda.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's not Oda. Man. Par. If we were on YouTube, I'd call you every like slur in the book, brother.
Wait,
it's not Oda. This isn't Oda.
I didn't say it was. I just asked you a question.
No, you can't gaslight me. You do this every time. You're like, what do you think about this? And then after I give you an answer, you're like, and then you like scratch your chin. No. Every week we talk about it, and you're like, isn't it weird that, this cover page popped up on this day? How Oda loves to be the guy who sends the cover request.
Literally last year. What do you like? I haven't said this in
the energy going into 2024 is wild.
You're fighting ghosts right now.
I'm not fighting ghosts. You do this all the time.
Nah, I mean, sure. In the chat, in my live stream, I saw some people say like Toshika Zoo might be a real person, but I don't know who spawned that idea or who's
Toshika Zoo is a real person. They exist. Every week. I fight for the existence of the little guys,
and Toshika Zoo probably came to my wedding, and this is why he requested it. Oda too. Same thing. I never brought anything up. I was just asking you what you thought, and you said all this. So you just sound like a crazy person right now. Me,
fair.
Me, I'm chilling.
All right. I'll let you off this. I'll let you off the hook this one time. But to the avid listeners of the Parcast, you know exactly what I'm getting at here.
Is avid the right word? Avid?
Yeah.
What does avid mean?
No, I feel like avid's the right word. Let me look it up.
Yeah. It probably.
I feel like I've heard it in a movie recently, and I feel like that's right. That's the right context.
Yeah, it felt like you added having or shown keen interest, enthusiasm for something. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
There we go.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the definition, and I got it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Context.
It was one of those. It was one of those words that but like. I don't know why it felt like a new word you added to your vocabulary. So I was like,
no, I love that word. I've been using it. I mean, I use a lot of words that I don't know the meaning of, but I just I hear it and I just use context clues to kind of deduce what it means. I'm like, I'll just throw that in there for fun.
Yeah.
It just sounds right. Like another one I've been using is phosphorus gas.
Oh no.
And that's because I know that it's illegal.
Yes. Oh my god.
So I've been using the past 2 days. I've been using phosphorus gas as a reference.
Oh my goodness! What a reference, guys.
It's kind of out of left field, but it's just like the word avid.
A chemistry class coming in clutch.
That's you know it. So into the chapter.
Yeah.
Oh wait. So I'm reading this on TCB, and they like to put in the little Oda notes.
Yeah, I always read them.
And you know what? I don't care what Oda has to say. He acting as if this is his manga, but this time around, he has a pretty cool note. He just says Monster is being animated. It's a one-shot that I wrote back when I was young. I don't believe this is actually happening. Life is good. I'm happy for Oda. It's like drawing as a kid. Like you ever draw like those little fish thingies?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you hang it up on the fridge, and then one day it just comes to life.
You become world famous, and now even your doo-doo becomes like popular. Like there's like Twitch streamers selling bathwater. Like this is not the same thing, but it's like the people it's so funny because I saw so many people hyping up the story even before the trailer came out.
Monsters?
Yeah, and like I was confused about like why the
Hyping up
hype was
monsters.
insane because like the hype is there, but I'm hyped because like finally we get like more context to this story, maybe, hopefully. Like
Nope.
it's cool, it's added, it's
Oh
dope,
man,
right? People were expecting some craziness. I was like, the story's not that good. Like it's literally
it's
like the
not.
trailer spoiled everything. Like I watched the trailer. Like I forget Pew's all of the stuff that Pew posted. The copyright took it down on Twitter.
Yeah,
And Netflix posted one. It's like a little bit longer. It literally has everything. There's no point in even watching the story at that point. If you want to, just read it. It's so much faster, and I guarantee you nothing gets added from
Here's
what
the
they're gonna
thing.
show us. Like,
So I was joking about not caring what Oda says. I know some people like take that seriously. They're like, "Oh, Sai hates
yeah,
Oda." But that's not a thing. But the thing with monsters is that, like you said, it's not a in-depth story whatsoever.
yeah,
But I was hoping, I was one of those people that was kind of hoping we'd get more out of it. Like, more
yeah,
context, like you said. We get
yeah.
more character developments with Shirano, Ryuma, Flare. The story changes, or maybe it's a whole length movie, a series, and they expand on the universe of One Piece like hundreds of years ago. Let me tell you, my disappointment when I found out that it was only 25 minutes long in one episode. And then, like you said, Pew Piece leaked a part of the trailer from Brazil, and then Netflix released the trailer too. And if you add it up together, that's 3.5 minutes out of 25 minutes that we just already watched. It's like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
Like like you said, we have like the whole context there. There's
Yeah,
nothing left up to the imagination. We see the hit with Ryuma attacking the dragon, and that's the whole scene. Like Ryuma one shots the dragon. Like we literally see the finishing move.
yeah, no, 100%. I watched that and I was like, and I'm like, there's no way that like I don't even know how to explain it, but like when like the One Piece live action, for example, when they made the trailer, in my opinion, the trailer, not that it's like the most amazing thing, but they didn't do the Hollywood type of thing where they spoil the movie, which is like a trend for a lot of like movies in general. To the point people don't watch trailers
Yeah.
sometimes, especially the full trailers. They watch like the teaser trailer because that's like the safest thing. But if you watch the full trailer, then it ends up being a situation where you could end up seeing like most of the movie's plot. And I don't understand how you put out like basically 2 minutes of trailer for a 25-minute episode.
30
Like,
minutes of trailer.
yeah, and not think that like at that point just put like the first 2 minutes of this show. Don't put like a trailer that goes to the end of the episode because yeah, you're like they literally did the like yeah, they might have cut out like key animations. Fine, cool, and it's gonna hype things up, but like the entire antithesis or not the antithesis, the entire climax of this is that one strike that he does. And the question leading up is like, does he fight that thing? And then you see he fights the thing, and it's like, wait, what? That's the entire point of the story is like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
It's
I mean, there is a section that they did leave out, but it's not that
yeah.
that part isn't interesting. It's not like
I don't
like
know. I mean, I think they added it in like another trailer. I think there was like a fourth one because you see the other like villain that wasn't shown in the first two trailers. I forgot his name.
yeah,
It's like the
DR.
magician guy. Yeah, yeah. He actually makes an appearance in the trailer as well.
Yeah,
And you see
yeah,
that
yeah.
he causes the dragon to come over. So it's like, damn, dude. Like,
Well,
and my thing isn't like, oh no, like the trailer spoiled the entire story. Like, as a spoiler guy, like I don't really care for that.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
more so I had this, and this is my fault, right? Like
yeah.
maybe I built it up too much, but I was really expecting high quality animation and art style. And
Mhm.
then when I got to the trailer, I was
It was
I
normal.
was disappointed. I like I looked at the animation, I was like, the style isn't necessarily bad, but the
Yeah.
quality of it just isn't banging. People are like, oh, it's the JJK style. I hate it because one of the former JJK, I think directors or animators is working on the project. And I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, dude, this isn't even JJK style. Like, this is like something else entirely.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
I
don't
did
even know
not
what this is. And even like quality wise from the trailer, the scenes look okay. Like they're very stereotypical of what you'd see in a modern day anime that's weekly.
Yeah.
And it's weird because this isn't that. This is a project that they've been working on for months on end, 25 minutes alone, and it's being worked on by E&H Studio. And it's like those guys are known for pumping out little mini movies that look great. Like I don't really know where they fell off the wagon, but for me at least, like I'm gonna watch it. I'll like it, but is it what I thought it could have been? No, I thought it could have been more. I thought it could have been more.
And the reason why I was on the trailer thing is because like, obviously it's hype for a One Piece thing, but a lot of times these like one shots, like not one shots, but like a small spin-off, is a really great gateway into the like the full thing, which obviously one episode for 1,000, but like I'm thinking about when TV shows do crossovers and they like the sister TV shows, and then what they do is they'll like in a climactic scene they'll put some of the episode on the other side, and it's a sort of one shot, and that does bring a lot of people to the other series. And like this is a version of that where it's like people are gonna watch this on Netflix or whatever or wherever they see it, and they're gonna be like, you know what, I can't do 1,000 episodes, but I could watch this. And so like, and then if some people watch the trailer and then they watch that and then they watch the thing, they're gonna feel like wasted time in a lot of ways. And I feel like the way this is hyped up, it was so weird because I expected this energy from like after it posted. Like I was mentally prepared for like people like, oh, this stuff was dumb, like the outside like One Piece community anime, like, oh, this is dumb. But like even in the One Piece community, I'm like, wait, like what are you guys saying? Like, did you guys not read this? There's nothing to expect from this. This is like Oda when he's 16, like he was just testing out different styles, different things.
He only had one chapter.
Yeah, and then the only reason why this is like has notoriety is because in Thriller Bark, he after showing Ryuma, he's just like, yeah, like that character and this guy, like treat them as like different multiverses of the same dude. And I'm like, okay, that and can we get some more clarity on this? And then we go 20 more years and no clarity, and I want this thing to give clarity, but it doesn't seem like we're gonna get clarity because Oda seems to be maintaining the original perspective of like this is not the same universe, which is like I wish he did make it same universe just so we can know if that was Wano, if we could know like where he is, because like
because I think that's the cool part about this, right? Like just picking out what is in the One Piece verse, but we don't even have that.
That's a small detail that doesn't even need like it's not even that deep when you think about it.
Yeah,
where it's like there's a magazine that says it's 400 Ryuma's 400 years ago, but like I've asked so many like people like Artur and a few other Japanese speakers, and they're just like, yeah, but like these magazines aren't prime source. Or no, I think Sandman also said like the magazines are like fifth rung in terms of source material. Like they're not even made in the same place. They don't get checked in the same way. And so people take magazines very seriously for some reason. But like that 400 years, we don't know. It's never been verified outside of that. And to the fact that we don't even know the location of monsters, but Oda did say it's like treated as like a different universe Ryuma.
The multiverse.
Yeah, and so like
weird.
But if Oda wanted to substantiate Ryuma a little bit right after Wano, a little bit going into like backstories a little bit, it would have been kind of easy. I feel like you just changed the backgrounds just a tiny bit, you know what I mean?
Turn it into Wano where like, get like one name drop. Like he had so many chances to do something different here.
Yeah, and they have assets. They have 4 years built up of assets of Wano. They don't have to even remake a lot of stuff. They could just like, not saying they reuse things, but like they could. I mean,
I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, at that point, like what we're seeing now, it's like at that point you could have. If there were any fanfare for the Ace novel, I would not blame the peaks and heights that could reach, because like that would be insane, because you get Whitebeard, you get Jinbei, you get Ace, obviously. Yeah, you get, oh my god, the way he looks in the thing. Oh, I think my favorite still would be when Rayleigh's just sitting on the edge and he's just like this dope dude. Like, oh my god.
Oh, you
Oh,
get more Blackbeard too. Yeah, you get more
true,
Blackbeard.
true. And
See, like the Ace novels would go hard, man. Like Netflix,
yeah,
why not pick that up? I don't know.
yeah, like
It's not crazy, man.
if
Why
they had
monsters?
Boichi do that one too. Oh my god, that'd be
I don't.
crazy.
I'm not a fan of Boichi's artwork.
I like the way he draws like the scary people like Shanks and Rayleigh. He has a
Yeah,
vibe
he's
when
just really hit and miss for me.
yeah, that's fair. I
Like
mean,
some of
he's
his designs, I'm like, whoa, and then the other half, I'm like, oh,
I
get that
mean, the
off.
other
I don't
half are
know.
just the girls, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the
Yeah,
problem.
but there are no
It's
girls
just
in
the
the
way
Ace
he
novel.
draws girls, and it's not
There's
like the Oda thing where they get like the crazy big boobs or something. No, dude, Boichi like I don't even know how to
you
describe
don't
what he
need
does
to
to them. I really don't know how to describe it.
no you know how to describe it. It's just
No, it's
we're
not. I wouldn't even
monetized.
compare it to that. Like
No,
it's not. I'm assuming you meant like hentai styled, right?
no, yeah, sure, that's what I meant. I mean,
It's
I'm
not even
pretty sure
hentai styled. It's like baby dollified.
yeah. I mean, I think people have a different descriptor, but like we're on
Yeah.
YouTube and but the main thing is like there are no girls in the Ace novels, so it's fine. It's completely
There's
fine.
no girls in the Ace novels.
There isn't, and
Win.
yo, that's kind of
Boichi can't mess it up, dude, if there's no women up there, you know?
that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, like there's no issue with it because in the Ace novel there was no, and so we were fine. And like literally, I think the only person who gets the girl effect is Ace. Ace is the only character that is the closest to the feminine like style that he has. He does draw him in a lot of scenes that is more like that, and less so that like then if you look at like what he would never draw Shanks like that, never draw Rayleigh like that, and but he did draw Ace
Wait,
maybe like 30% of the time like that. Maybe
so
less.
if there was like a hypothetical like Ace anime being produced, would you
Mhm.
want Boichi on that team or no? Because I actually wouldn't. like we're talking about this as if Boichi's gonna be the one like drawing and doing all the artwork, but it's like no, actually I just wouldn't have him there to be honest. Like
I mean, wait, he was the one who did the Ace novels, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we can hire somebody else. I mean, let's be real. I mean,
All right.
like
I
anime
will
versus
be-
their studios. Come on.
the way he drew, I think he did better than what Dr. Stone is the series, right? That he does. And it's like in the way he did the Ace thing with the bird hanging down
Oh no,
in
no,
the
Boichi
ship.
did not do the Ace
Oh, wait,
novels.
who did the Ace novels then?
Yeah,
Because
I was gonna say Boichi just did the drawing. Like Boichi literally is just like a a freelance drawer that just pops in here and there.
wait,
It's
what
a
did
guy
he do
named
then?
it's a guy named Sho Hinata.
So Hinata. Okay, wait, I mixed up the dudes then. Wait,
Yeah.
I thought Boichi also did like the Shanks drawing.
So Boichi did. Boichi
Oh,
did do those drawings, but
yeah.
like I said, he didn't write the story though.
Oh, yeah,
He's just like a guy that pops on and does like a chapter or two, and he's like, "Hey, see you later."
Yeah. He
Like,
didn't
that's
write
kind of
it.
it.
I mean, at the end of the day, the way I see it is Oda hands the person the bullet notes and the writer does the
Yeah,
writing part.
that's what Sho
Like,
did.
yeah, because that's what Oda seems to be doing with all the films too. Like he wrote like the entirety of Strong World, and then after that, I feel like he went for the directorship side where he just handed the bullet points. But 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 with the Ace novel, yeah, I'm talking like that the way that bird showed up upside down and it was like really menacing looking, and the way like those key points were, I did like Boichi for that. If Boichi did the drawing, and I'm like, yeah, that's not a bad thing. I like those moments. I think
I wonder how many people know what we're actually talking about, because I don't think
yeah.
everybody has like read or looked at the Ace novels, because it's a book first and then it got adapted into like a manga. But I don't think the Ace novels are that popular. But they are, I don't even know, like they're canon because they are Oda's notes, but I guess they're technically not in the manga. It's a weird one.
Yeah,
It's like Ryuma. It's like the multiverse.
Yeah, except there are moments that like have been referenced, like the Shanks and Ace meeting that was referenced
Yeah.
at Marineford. Like, this is a different one in the sense of like the plot points of connecting Ace to the story did happen to the point where that's what I was saying when we got the Kuma flashback of the Warlord stuff. I was like, I wonder. I still haven't gone back to see this part, to see if there's like any inkling of that, but um. I would imagine if we do get more of that stuff, like maybe we get more, like in someone else's backstory, we hit more notes on Ace, like, oh, Ace just went through Fisherman Island, and that's not a hard thing for Oda to do in hindsight. But like, yeah, like if you just type in Shanks Boichi, I guarantee you've probably seen someone use this Shanks picture as
Oh
a
yeah.
thumbnail, and like if you're not aware of it, but then
Oh no
also
no. I
alongside
meant
it,
like more so like I don't think people know like the actual story of the Ace novels or like
oh,
have read it.
oh,
Like yeah, it's hard to like miss Boichi because I'm sure
yeah,
you've seen like a tweet about it. I'm sure you've seen like an image of one of his drawings before. But it's more
yeah,
so like I don't think a lot of people have like stopped and actually read the Ace novels. I think
yeah.
it's still pretty obscure for the most
Yeah.
part.
I am glad, not that I'm saying it's bad. I am glad we didn't go with this Jinbei though. This Jinbei is so scary looking, and he would just be an odd one out on the crew if he was like this Giga Chad looking. Like,
No, to be fair, like I feel like if Boichi were to redo the Straw Hats, they would all look so different too.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Like
yeah,
they'd probably be menaces. At least the guys would. We already know what Nami looks like. I already know what
yeah.
Nami looks like. That's ooh,
Yeah,
damn.
I agree with you. Is like that's not my favorite timeline, but a lot of people did get excited about that fight, and
Did
I
they?
yeah, they did because Boichi is a decorated hentai artist. You know this, right?
Brother, I've been in the fields of hentai. Back in the day, I used to like do hentai reviews. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know.
Good
That's how we
meme.
met. That's how we
But
met.
here's the
Remember?
thing.
Wait,
Boichi is not a Boichi is not a hentai artist that people look at and smile to.
but he was 11 series decorated champion world. He's a Korean author, and his way into the mangaka space is really unique, right? Because like it's mostly Japanese people. And then he was a Korean, but he made a hentai first, and then he got his foot in the door. And people are like, "Yo, this guy."
He's kind of like my grandpa, like a decorated war hero, but then you really see him and it's just a feeble old man now. Like you know what I mean? Like, major kudos to my grandpa. I love that guy. But, hear me out. Like I feel like since we weren't there in the trenches with him,
Uh-huh.
I can't praise him, dude. Like I'm just the outside looking. I can't praise Boichi. I'm so sorry, Par. Like I don't want to, diss your favorite hentai artist here, but I really just personally don't like Boichi's art
Is
style.
that where we're going to side? You're gonna do what I did to you at the start. You're gonna gaslight me like this. You
Gaslighting? No,
look
no,
at the
I'm not
Rayleigh
gaslighting
and
you.
Shanks picture and tell me that shit isn't crazy. I feel
No,
like
brother, I'm saying it's good. Like I said, it's highs and lows, but his lows are abysmal.
yeah, but the
And his
lows
hentai
aren't in
art
the
style
Ace
isn't good.
novel.
Like you gotta imagine the hentai's
I'm not
all the
asking for
women
the.
designs.
I'm not asking for the.
Like
Wait, isn't
I'm
the
not like
Ace?
you, Par. I don't splunk to this one.
Wait. I'm forgetting though. Isn't he the? This is the story where yeah. I'm
What's
pretty
up?
sure he did this. Where like in when Ace and Whitebeard fight in the clouds, Roger's looking down as a cloud, right? That's this, right?
I don't remember. Let
I'm
me
pretty
see. Let me
sure it
see.
is. I'm pretty sure the clouds are shaped like Roger. That was the funniest, and it's
I love
so
how we're just hyping
serious.
this up too. Like people are gonna be like, yo, like what the hell are they talking about? Like I gotta read the novels now.
People should read it. I've
Yeah,
referenced
no,
this a
I
lot.
agree.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
referenced this a lot, and I feel like a lot of people use these pictures not knowing that it's not Oda
And
even.
thank God there's no women in here, because let me tell you, would have turned off that manga real quick.
Yeah, I think Mask, Deuce, and Ace are the only ones that get like that. It's like a casual thing, but it's like you said it funnily, like you said it's not like Oda's like template for girls. He has like one template and he changes it up a little bit. Boichi has the same thing, but it's like I don't know who he stress tested this template on, but like he needed to he could have done a little bit better, I think. And
Yeah.
he know he could do better because you're looking at all the pictures of the dudes and you're just like, wait. Wait, hold on. You could do the same thing for the women, right? It's
Yeah,
like
like
no.
you could make the women look epic, but instead you I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyways, that's enough Boichi. Boichi is a polarizing topic here.
Yeah, fair.
Let me know, guys. Are you like Par and do you love Boichi's art style all
Oh
the way
my
through?
god.
Do you read all of his hentai
For the
just like Par,
scope
or
of
are
the
you like
Ace
me where you just
novels,
think, or are you like me where you
reading
just
the
think that
Ace.
Shanks and Whitebeard and Ace look cool and that's pretty much it?
That's what
Let
I
us know below.
said.
So
That's
going on with
you
the
are putting.
chapter.
Oh my god.
So Kuma goes through a whole flashback in the first page. This punch is
Hmm.
taking a while to land. Actually, I think we kind of
Hmm.
laughed at this before,
Yeah.
but the punch, it, the delivery speed is so slow. Kuma goes through a whole flashback. Saturn asks multiple questions and talks about the self-destruct button. He drops like 5 sentences before Kuma actually hits him. It's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
This is
But you know
this
what they
is
say: the slower the punch, the stronger it is.
this is like the most shonen thing I've felt in One Piece. In like this is like back in the day type of thing, where it's like it's not an inner monologue type of like, oh, he had so many thoughts. Because if it's an inner monologue, sure, that's what Kuma is having, right? He's remembering everything that this punch is like carrying, right? All the weight
Yeah.
is in this punch. That makes sense. Then you go to the next page and it's just Vegapunk, what is the meaning of this? And it's like Kuma is literally inches
Oh,
from his face. Inches
dude,
from his
here.
face.
Let's reenact it. I'll be the fist and you be Saturn and read all those lines. And
Yeah,
imagine
yeah,
Kuma is midair while Saturn's saying this. Okay, go.
yeah, yeah. Vegapunk, what is the meaning of this? How can Kuma still be alive? I used made a contingency plan. A few days after the Revolutionary, we took him. I triggered his self-destruct mechanism.
There we go, dude. Like I had to like slow my fist down a little bit too. Like that is how long Saturn had before this punch landed while Kuma was in the air.
Yeah.
It's a great moment, but like you said, it is very shonen. Like
Yeah, yeah, and
it
you
feels
know
like an
for
action shonen. I love it.
you know for a fact that
It's
the
funny.
anime will his speech pattern will never his cadence will never reach how fast I went
Yeah.
just there. He'll literally be like Vegapunk. What is the meaning of this? How can Kuma
Dun
still be
dun
alive?
dun dun. Yeah, the music playing in the background. That's exactly what's gonna happen here, man. Like
Yeah, yeah.
to
Oh
be
my.
continued.
Yeah, and then also it's like the cut of Bonnie crying, and then like when he says Vegapunk, it'll cut to Vegapunk's face, and then the Vegapunk, like it had Frankie, Vegapunk, Sanji all in one thing. In the
And
anime
they're
is
all
gonna
gonna have
do
a little
separate,
sentence.
yeah, separate cutscene where they go, they're all Oh my god, it's
You
gonna
know, so
break
you know, like
each one.
Sanji's gonna say that guy, and then Frankie's gonna be like Kuma, you know, like it's gonna do all
Yeah.
these crazy cuts, and then the punch finally lands. Like we're gonna this might be a whole episode right here, to be honest.
Yeah, given
That's crazy.
how much time is being fluxed right now, like it's like
Yeah, maybe
at
this is the
point,
multiverse.
Kuma is bending space-time continuum with this punch. That is the real agenda. If we want to be crazy, it's like, did you see Kuma slow down time so much with his fist? You can see the fabrics of time being rippled.
But you know, like realistically though, this punch should land in like less than a second.
Oh yeah,
So
he's at the top of his
do you
jump.
think we
I mean,
are?
his jump force. He was like, whoosh, like it's
Do you think we're
crazy.
dismissing how fast Saturn could be talking though? Like, what if he actually does talk fast? Like, what if he says all of this in less than a second, and then when
Give the man an
Sanji,
award.
Vegapunk, and Frankie say what, they're actually just wondering what Saturn's saying because they just can't hear it. Like Saturn's like what, and then they're like
Only-
what? Who?
Only Kizaru is able to interpret the speed
Yeah,
of light.
the light
here.
speed man.
Oh my god, Kizaru just is like
Plot twist.
yeah. That's actually how we heard this. It's from Kizaru's perspective. Nobody really recognizes that like our frame of reference right now is Kizaru, which is how we're able to hear it.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah. Oh my god, we cracked the code. Da Vinci, watch out. Fucking wild.
Kuma's punch lands, bro, and it looks hefty. It looks a little bit painful. You know, I'll speak for the both of us here, but
Uh-huh.
I don't think we'd want to be on the receiving end of this punch.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, definitely not. But Saint Saturn, though, I think it's really cool how Saint Saturn takes this hit and Oda still makes him look kind of badass. Like, while he's taking the hit, like, he's staring down Kuma. I think that's kind of awesome. I don't know. There's just something about those eyes. I'm like, damn, dude.
Like
he's not done. He's not done.
The amount of disrespect it is for like to look at someone's punch and like not he flinched last chapter and then Oda wiped that away this chapter, but he's like he was scared last chapter. He looked a lot more scared than he does on the front end of this punch in this chapter. But he also like imagine someone's like in a fight and you just have a full-blown conversation with somebody else. That's really disrespectful. And given what happens afterwards, given how he actually takes it, I feel like he should have paid a little bit more attention. But you know, that's a conversation we'll get to.
He was just more shocked. I mean, you know, like going back to the dialogue we kind of like memed on a little bit. Like he doesn't even know how Kuma's alive still. He was like, wait, I pressed that button. I slammed it a couple of times. I waited for it to be at the Revolutionaries base. This was our contingency plan. He shouldn't be here. Like for him, this is more than just somebody punching him. This is like, do you watch scary movies, Par?
Sometimes.
Do you know what a ghost is?
Yes.
This is like seeing a ghost. This is like seeing a ghost.
Okay. See, I'll hit you with something else though.
Yeah.
But Sai, he's a man of science. How could Vegapunk possibly have pulling one over? Clearly,
because he's a man of science. He got the report. He got the doctor's report. Kuma should be dead. What are you talking about?
Is that how he verified this? He clicked the button and said, "Oh, it's done." Like for me, it's like people brought up that logic, and I'm like, there's no positive because you saying that it detracts his brain because like from his brain power, like he's literally 5 IQ. Like when he goes to Vegapunk, like don't even think about trying to pull a fast one on me. I'm a man of science. If his way of verifying it is clicking a button and then taking a full blown punch from the guy because he didn't die, I don't know what to say for this guy. I'd much rather be that from the power perspective, right? He just underestimated Kuma. Kuma's moving really fast. I don't even know. Like I don't even know. And then let's go to the next part where it's like he has this imaginable regeneration type of thing that doesn't make any sense, and it's like, yeah, that's why he took the punch. I'd rather lean on that.
I have a really good theory as to how he's regenerating, and I want to save it for later.
Okay.
But I will speak on Saturn's behalf as his PR agent. Because if we both hear me out. If we both go in on Saturn and if we both make fun of him and point and laugh at this old guy, then we're gonna feel a little bit like asshats. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You know, usually I tell you like, hey, we can't cuss too much, Par. It's YouTube. But let me tell you, I don't care about YouTube anymore. I hate this platform. So here's the thing, Par. What if Saturn did check to see if there was a bomb in Kuma and the switch that's supposed to turn him off just looked like a bomb? What if it had like a, you know, the comical picture of like a skull and crossbones and a fuse? Like, have you ever thought about that? Like maybe Vegapunk did put like a fake bomb inside of him. I mean, I guess he did, which is like the whole point of this. Like Kuma should be shut off right now.
Yeah.
And what if Saturn just never had time to check, right?
Seems like a very important thing to like, not check per se, but like, I like, how do you check, right? Like that's the thing. But he literally had the line of like, don't even think about pulling a fast one on me, buddy.
Yeah, but and like, because like who would pull a fast one on the Gorosei, right? Like,
yeah,
maybe
but
he thought that his authority
power
and position would bind Vegapunk to where it wouldn't, or to where he wouldn't want to try it or even attempt it. Because that's the thing. That's like, it's like poker, right? He has a full hand. He's bluffing. He's like, you better not do it. You better take back those cards. You know, and then you're like, oh no, like this guy has a great hand. I better fold.
Let's not forget the context of the entire situation. Was Vegapunk pulling like a fast one? He was doing underhand deals with Kuma off the jump. And then he goes, I'm a man of science too. You're not going to even be able to do that. Don't even think about it, Vegapunk.
I love your Saturn science voice. I'm a man of science too.
Yeah,
like, it's like Mandark. It's so good. I like it. No, you should be the VA. English VA, please hit up Caribou
Hire
here.
me. Hire me,
Hire
please.
him.
I
Hire
may
him and
not.
then replace him with AI.
Yeah, I may not have a voice in a few months, but up until
Wait,
then,
Par.
what?
On a real note, though, sorry, man, so many distractions here. If you
Uh-huh.
could be a voice actor,
Uh-huh.
but after your 1 gig of being a voice actor, they replace you with AI, would you be okay with that?
No.
I feel like I would. You wouldn't?
No.
Damn. Because
Yeah.
you'd want like future gigs or what's up? Or just like the
Nah.
morality of it?
I'm too valuable.
No, I would
Yeah.
do it. I feel like I don't have a lot of time to voice act, and it's like I just feel like if I could get my name out there, even if it's through AI, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but you're saying that they don't pay you though, right?
Royalties. Let's say royalties.
Oh, they give you royalties?
Yeah, royalties.
It depends on how much the royalties are, but I don't like giving people ownership over my body, you know what I mean? Like
What about
it's
just for
my
anime? Like it's strict, only anime voice acting.
only anime voice. Yo, there's some weird characters. I wouldn't want to be like one of those weird characters, you know what I mean?
Somebody's got to do it. It's
If
respectful.
I
Like what if
can't
it's
choose the role, if I can't choose
what
the
if you're like
role.
Minosha from My Hero, like that grape kid that loves boobs?
Yeah, that's why
Yeah, that'd be
that's the reason.
cursed.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even like whether I agree or not with the character. It's just like they could think of characters that like I wouldn't even be able to imagine as
Oh,
bad.
you could be the VA for Caribou and Vasco Shot.
I feel
Your two
like
favorite characters.
The VA for Caribou is less I mean it's problematic to be associated, but he's more of an anime character than his name's Minosha in My Hero.
I think
That's his
so.
name.
I forgot.
I mean,
It's been a while.
Isn't it like you got the M-I? Is it Minota? Maybe it's Minota.
I don't know, dude. I don't like that character.
Minutia is like a like arithmetic term. Like Minutia, I'm like, what are we with the square root of what? Like
Minoru. Mineta.
Minoru? Mineta? Oh, that's his
Yeah,
full name.
that's his
I don't
full
know his
name.
government name. All right. Like,
It doesn't matter. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm not a big fan. I caught up to My Hero the other day, and man, those last
anime
couple of
or manga?
chapters,
Oh,
manga,
manga. Okay.
dude, those last couple of chapters are pretty hilarious. I don't think I've laughed so hard before in my life.
Oh no. That's
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but the All for One fight is funny. I think that's
Damn.
great comedy.
Damn. Oh man, you spoiled it. There's an all for one fight at the end of the
Yeah, the main villain. Whoa, we fight Emu in One Piece. Holy crap, no way. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa, we're
so-
gonna fight a Kainu one day. Holy
Yeah,
crap, Blackbeard. You're gonna
Oh.
spoil One Piece for me. There's a final island. Oh man.
my God.
Self-destruct mechanism.
Yeah.
I think it is funny how Saturn pressed the button, and like you said, he kind of just put faith in that it would work.
A lot of
like
faith.
you would think that he would have like some sort of camera to like confirm Kuma's death or something, or like maybe like a monitor that like shows what Kuma's seeing and then it says destroyed. But instead, he's just like, I pressed that button in good faith and I thought it was done. Like I
Yeah,
don't know, man. Like that's just kind of funny. It's like a
Like,
kid believing in Santa.
He has seraphims too. He literally has a seraphim that could go and find out everything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
apparently he doesn't have GPS on the thing, which fair. They don't have satellites. They don't have trackers. Maybe he doesn't know about Beaver cards existing because Beaver cards
Doesn't know
are the
about
main.
beaver cards.
Yeah, like
It doesn't know
Beaver
about beaver cars, no GPS,
Like,
whatever.
the Straw Hat Grand Fleet are putting a lot of reliance on paper, and apparently, the Gorosei are not knowledgeable of this piece of paper because I would imagine you could have a Viver card of Kuma and it would still exist because like the way Vegapunk is talking about it, it's like his will is gone, but like his body's still there. It's like he's dead in essence, but like reality, he's still alive. Like it's like a weird thing based off the conversation because now it's like Vegapunk seems to be realizing like, okay, this isn't the mental death that I thought would happen, right? But like it's
Yeah.
implying that he's like, yeah, he's still there, but like he shouldn't be like at all, period. And so it's like it's a weird conversation. But I'd imagine that is an interesting thing. I wonder if Viva cards would work on Kuma. I feel like they should. I feel like they should.
I feel like they would.
Yeah, and so and here's the the thing. If they do or would, that's what Saturn needs. He just needed the V
I don't
verify
know.
from
Like,
Kuma.
that's so much. Like, a piece of paper in your pocket to check where Kuma is. Like,
He
nah,
wanted to
dude.
self-destruct. Oh, you're
Oh,
telling
you're
me.
right. You're right. He's carrying a button around. My bad. My bad. Yeah, he's carrying a
And then
button in his pocket.
And then the other side of the cope is that he's surprised about him existing. Well, hell, he wouldn't be surprised if he had the paper. You know what I mean? Like, my man is all about magic, the godhead of science. He doesn't even have paper. Oh my, we don't. Oh my god, I hate this.
Do you think Saturn thinks all the Revs are dead? Because he, in his mind, he blew up a bomb in their base. Like, because he waited a few days. Like, this was tactful in a way, right? Like, he waited a few days for him to get home to the RA to blow him up. Like, when he's at the heart of the operations. Like, imagine he would blow up right in front of Ivankov, Dragon, Koala, Hack. Like, he would have killed a lot of people.
Yeah, he's like snickering in the back, and he's like, he's like the guard saying, what
Imagine they take down Dragon's poster like it's done.
yeah.
Blame Lord Sabo. If Leluzi didn't take him out, Kuma did.
Like, the
oh man, that's
get
hilarious.
The report post revs. It's like, oh, they stole it, Kuma, and then Saturn just breaks out of maniacal laughter.
Yeah, we did it. We got rid of him.
Yeah, and then the girl says, "What the fuck is this dude on?" And then Saturn.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Saturn's like, "You see this button here, guys? Boop." And then like, what did that do? And he's like, I just wiped out all the revs.
Yeah, the worst criminal in history is dead now.
Yeah. And here, like, oh my god, like that. It's. I wish he was that like maniacal, right? But like in reality, what I like. Here's my thing. Like, I think the synthesis is that he's the reason Kuma's here, because the way I'm seeing it is that what Vegapunk actually put in was the thing that shuts down. What did he say? He says, I didn't install
like the machine aspect of him.
Yeah, like he turned off whatever was like locking him down, or like allowing him to be docile, right? And so it's because he shut down everything inside of him. Kuma's just like a body, and all that's left is his body. So when Saturn hit the button, that's probably what like made him start darting away from Dragon in the first place. That's probably the lineup point, right? Because and so not only did Saturn go off in the back room, start snickering like, haha, I probably wiped out all of take that, Dragon. I bet you didn't see that one coming. And then in reality, he set up his own like sucker punch. And he literally got sucker punched, regardless of whichever interpretation he did get. Like, this is quite literally the definition of a sucker punch. So, oh my god, what a sucker.
It's great.
Yeah.
And then we spend a whole page of Saturn flying through buildings too. And then we see like a bunch of buildings falling on him, and we're just going to skip ahead a little bit because it kind of like all ties together. But Saturn gets back up after this. He's not fully dead, believe it or not. And it turns out that after the buildings fell on him, he lost an arm and he lost his horn.
Yes.
And he's also bleeding, but it regenerates. But it's just strange to me that buildings are the ones that took it out. Like, if Kuma broke his arm and broke his horn, I'm cool with that. But getting hurt by buildings is, I would say that's a new thing for One Piece, right? Like, I can't remember any villain that has been hurt by a building before.
That's exactly what I said, because like when I was running through this live chapter, live reading, I was like, yo, like Odin got hit by divine departure, flew through everything, hit the wall, and it was like supposed to show you like the distance, right? Like, because Odin got up and looked at Roger as if he was God. Like, he was just like, what the hell just hit me? He's bleeding, he's scuffed, right? And like, but like this was like from start to finish, even to the point of Saturn getting up, it made no, like, if you put that into context, it's like Odin got all of that done to him, and he looked at Roger like, yo, who are you? You are my new like big bro. Like, he got converted with that hit. And like Saturn gets hit harder, loses limbs, all this stuff, and he tries to get up as if nothing happened to him. And it's like, yeah, you have regen, but like, brother, you got mollywopped by a building. And Oda gave us enough detail to know. We know where Kuma hit him. we know the pixels down to the pixels that it hit Saturn because he gave us a close up. Did not touch the horn, did not touch the arm. He comes back, his arm is gone from the elbow. Some people don't even get amputated by being shot in the arm or like sawed. Like they keep most of their arm like, oh my god, it's crazy the amount of damage this guy took. And you're right, like I can't think of a character that like Luffy died like how many times, and yeah, he's made of rubber, but like he's came back with limbs every single time. Kinemon, limbs there, all there.
Honestly, at this point, I'm starting to think that Arlong is actually just dead because he had the whole building fall on him. Like, I think Arlong's gone. You know, I've been like, hey, Arlong Blue Hockey's gonna come back pretty soon, but you know, after seeing what happened to Saturn with what, like 2 or 3 buildings, I'm like, damn, dude, I think Arlong's deceased.
Yeah,
any character now that gets thrown through a building, I'm gonna look for this. Like, I want to see what body part they're maybe this is how Kid lost his arm. You know, people were wondering, they're like, Ben Beckman, he doesn't have a sword. Like, Ben Beckman has a gun. How did Kid lose an arm? And I'm like, maybe Ben Beckman slapped him through a building. Maybe that's what happened here.
My take has always been the monkey.
I don't know.
The monkey.
I don't know, dude.
Just that was the start to finish. My Godfather Shanks video. I remember in the comments, I was like, yo, people thinks it's Shanks. I think it's the monkey. And then we get the thing and it's like, yeah, it makes less sense that Ben did it because he has a gun. And then it's like, what did his gun just expands in bullets, and like, was it a shotgun rifle? Like, what is happening?
Ooh, maybe it's a goofy gun where I've been playing a lot of Borderlands recently, but there's a couple of guns that have quirky abilities. Like, there's one gun that shoots a saw blade out. Maybe that's it.
A saw blade?
Yeah, it's like an assault rifle and it shoots like little saw blades. So maybe Ben Beckman has that. I mean, technically we've never seen him shoot. So like, hey, maybe there's saw blades inside that gun, dude. Maybe that's how Kid lost the arm. Or maybe he shoots out buildings.
We've seen him shoot in film in the live action, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we saw Ben Beckman shoot in the live action. That's a good one, Par. All right, so the buildings happen. You know, they fall on Saturn. He loses his limbs, and then he regenerates them. And I have a theory on this one.
Not immediately, though.
Not immediately, but like it takes a second. You know, like.
No, but you know how goofy it is that he has the ability to regen, and he shows up broken instead of healing and like showing up fine.
I think it's a flex.
He busted through with Conqueror's Hockey, showed up messed up, bloodied up. He was just like, and he didn't do the line from Bonnie, you know, where Bonnie's just like, if I were afraid of the sword, you don't think I would avoid it? He gets up, shows his bloodied face, no arm, no horn, ass, walks back. He literally comes through the building, stomps.
No. I'm his PR agent. This is cool. He wants to flex that he can regen. No. I don't agree with this one.
He can flex cool. By not having any damage. Which isn't a flex. No, you're right. PR wise, you're right, because that is the standard for One Piece. The standard is you get blown through all the buildings, you come out perfectly fine. He needed to show, no, I'm not fine, but I will be fine. So he came back. He's like, I took damage and I ate it, and it was good. That's what he did.
I will admit though, as his PR agent, it would have been better if he dodged it. You know, going back to the Bonnie thing, if I wanted to dodge, I would have. It would have looked better.
You can't.
But here's the thing, though. My argument is that when has Saturn last been hit? I think he wants to experience the thrill of battle.
That's what I want to say too. But like,
yeah, he's like Kaido, right? He's just taking all the hits. Show me what you got. You know what I mean? Like that's Saturn right here. He's having fun.
That's what I want to think too, but like then I mean, hey, listen, fun is great things, but like Kaido getting parried by Sanji with like that, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want to be touched by those shoes with a 9-yard stick. Like those shoes are disgusting. He let this his like
shoes are kind of gross.
Like imagine somebody punches you through an island and you're trying to get your get back, and you get parried by somebody, right? Like Kaido would never. Kaido had that with Law, right? Law showed up, teleported them, teleported way different than getting parried, and then Kaido looked at him and said, "All right, hold on, hold on, buddy," and then he blitzed him and then went back to fighting, I think, Zoro, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not the
You
same
know,
energy at
the,
all.
the worst the worst part about Sanji deflecting the spider leg, obviously big for Sanji, cool. Nice that he's finally moving again, but
Yeah.
the one thing I wish we could have gotten to like show that Saint Saturn does have a little, kick in his step, a little bit of power in there, is if Sanji hit it and then he says like "omoe," like oh it's heavy, like this is oh wow, like a strong kick. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I had to put effort into this one. Or maybe Sanji, like, wow, I'm glad I have the German modifications. We got none of that. Sanji just kicked it to the side like it's Sunday's dinner. Like, I don't know, man.
Virgo
It's not looking good for
merely
him, I'll
gave
admit.
him a fractured leg. Saturn, though, nothing. That's crazy.
No dialogue to even talk about the spider. Like, he said, I'm not going to let you.
Yeah,
I'm not going to let you upset
like,
Bonnie, and that's it. It's like, damn.
and,
Damn.
And it's like it's also not the same thing with the Kaido thing, because like Big Mom told Kaido to dodge like Zoro's like dragon blazing
Yo,
twister,
Kaido.
right? Like,
get out.
Like none of what's happening to Saturn is close to what Zoro did there. That's not.
Whoa. Okay, wait. You're telling me Sanji, this kick? No. This is like Enma.
like
Come on. Let's be real. You see those shoes?
I almost need Big Mom and Kaido to be here as commentators. Like I need them to.
That'll be big.
Yeah, them being like, and Saturn got hit by a normal punch by Kuma. I would have told him to not. I wouldn't have told him to dodge it, but after seeing the attack, he should have dodged that one.
Man, I've been watching a lot of Korean like shows.
Yeah.
And in Korean shows that like, reality TV shows, they always have commentators. Same with Japanese shows.
Yeah.
Dude, if One Piece had commentators like that, oh boy, that would be banging, man. Like, imagine like we get a couch of 5 people like Kaido, Big Mom, throw Odin in there too for like, the crazy weird dynamic, like dead characters. Don't Flamingo throw his ass in here because he's a celestial.
The Yokozuna guy from Awano, just throw him in as the comical random dude who shouldn't be on the desk.
Yeah, just the comical guy. Or even like another one of the Gorosei here. Like, dude, like I feel like One Piece commentary from like actual characters, while it would be weird, I think it would be hilarious. Like, imagine like we read the Kuma page, right? And then we have Kaido saying like that's respectable. Or Kaido saying that he can't relate because he doesn't like Yamato, but Big Mom is like, oh wow, familial love. Like that would be so hard, dude.
Yo,
and then Odin's laughing or something. I don't know. Like,
and
damn.
Kaido goes, maybe I should add him to the top 6. I should add him to the top. You
That'd
just
be
see
hilarious.
a redo of the thing, and Kuma's just in the back, just like this, and he's just like,
Yeah.
he remembers Kuma from God Valley, and he's just like, oh, he is a worthy adversary. I remember you.
And then we could even have like characters bonding, like Big Mom and Odin, like, they're like, oh yes, we do this with our family members too. You know what I mean? Like, we'd get the silliest moments. Yeah, One Piece commentators. If we ever get like I guess the One Piece reboot could do it. I don't know why they would though. Like it makes no sense. But I think having commentary like that would be so funny. It's so golden.
So some series actually like they don't have it to this extent. I remember one that did do this, where like a mentor character died or like an older character like left the series, right?
Yeah.
And the anime is currently doing this in the most garbage way. The One Piece anime is doing this, in my opinion, the most garbage way.
You said One Piece is doing this?
Yes, at the end of the episode, they are doing like a mini educational thing, and they like in I forget which series, but in one series I remember they had the character go through the fight in the thing and add like comical commentary, because it was like a mentor. It was like a Gojo but not Gojo, right? And it was like a guy who like it wasn't in the series, and it's like I would have personally told him to do this instead of that, but like he's still learning mana control or something like that, right? I don't know why I said mana, whatever. But in the series right now, and they're doing this, but they covered all of like one Viver card, and it was for Bonnie. In this last episode, I'm pretty sure it's the last one where the controversial scene is they reiterate like Bonnie appears to be 20. They run through her Viver card. I was like, oh no,
Bonnie's. Oh wow! I should just clip that and make that a short. That's so funny.
it's so
Easy content farming.
Because like the scene aside, right? But like they never give supplementary material, and this is the problematic time to do it. Like, why would you reiterate that? The anime viewers don't know about the Viver cards and stuff like that, and that is the issue for most of the community, is that there was a Viver card that like said estimated this, so it gave people a headcanon, an expectation, and they just gave it to them in the anime. I'm like, oh my god, what
That's
are you doing?
fair. That's fair.
But look, for me, I'm like, they have cover stories to cover. They did one Viver card for one episode, basically. I'm like, this is the worst efficiency I've ever seen. At that point, just spoil the next episode.
At least One Piece is evolving. Like, yeah, it could be done a lot better, but I'm just happy One Piece is evolving at the end of the day. I'm glad we're trying out new things. We have an ending again. Boichi is not a part of the series right now. Like, we're living a good life.
I agree with you. I sort of, but like, the one thing is they are taking airtime by doing the thing, right? Because like,
but I'd say that's good
earlier.
Because there's less filler. I've noticed less filler in the past 2 episodes. I feel like obviously that could change. Like maybe next episode there's like more filler, but I feel like now that the episodes are shortened, I feel like it's more straightforward. At least the past 2 episodes have felt like that.
But that being said,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
They need to hire us for these ideas of what they could do for these fights. Just have like random characters just like Whitebeard is just like, oh, I would have taken that one.
And then maybe offer somebody like a commenters package and then no commenters package. Because, you know, some people just want the pure fight. Or maybe that's how you sell Blu-ray again, or their online subscriptions or DVDs. Like, hey, if you want this version, go here. Dude, man, what are we doing here?
We'd make so much money for the One Piece.
Yeah, what are we doing, man? Why are we giving out these ideas?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'd pay like 10 a month to get like Whitebeard's commentary on some of this. Or like Whitebeard's like, I would love to fight Saturn.
This
or
one specifically too,
looking out for his son. I don't know.
So many points in this chapter where it's like I feel like I kind of was just like, are you guys seeing this shit? Are you guys? Is this fucking for real right now?
Like, and then going to the Bonnie moment, like honestly, Otoko would be a great commenter here, because Otoko kind of went through the same thing where like, you know, she was trying to like thank her dad for everything, and then she came through the whole character development of saying, oh, instead of, you know, saying I miss you, dad, I'm gonna say thank you, dad. And that's kind of what Bonnie did here. She's like, oh, dad, you were amazing, thank you for everything. I'm like, damn, dude. Bonnie and Otoko would kind of vibe.
And you know what, I feel like it would be a cool thing, you know, as far as like jokes aside or whatever. Oda would kind of cook with that because he likes giving meaningless context to things. And like, this is a great time to do that because like nobody knows what Saturn's doing. How is he holding down Sanji? How is he regenerating?
Yeah.
You can have like these characters be like, huh, in all my days on the seas, I've never seen something like that, you know? Or like or like Whitebeard goes like, so now God Valley makes a little bit more sense, and it's like, what does that mean? Whitebeard, you fought Saturn? What?
Or like Garp and Rox are like on the couch and they're like, yep, that didn't work on us. You know what I mean? Like that would, sick. Too good.
Roger goes like,
just a rock silhouette, not even him though, because he's not revealed yet.
Like I made a joke in my live stream because like I was running through the possibilities of what Saturn's doing here, right? Because we don't know, and you're gonna share in a little bit, and I have a version that I'm not gonna share, but the one I was thinking about was like maybe Celestial Dragons had this, and I was running through, I was like, oh, immediately no, because homing died normally, right? Like unless you can like kill Saturn with bullets, which like probably not, but like he is like paper mache, he's made out of jello. But then I was like, okay, maybe it is a Celestial Dragon thing, but like maybe you need to be higher up, maybe a Holy Knight thing. And I was like, no, wait, Shanks doesn't have an arm. He's literally the example.
Yeah, Shanks would love this ability, man.
Yeah, and then so I was thinking like Roger would be like, damn, that would have been really useful for that disease I had. Like,
oh yeah, that would be funny too. Like Roger, like, damn, dude, I wish I could do that. Jeez.
Yeah, shit, man. Damn. I wonder if that could have saved my life. That would have been wild.
So going back a little bit, after Kuma throws the punch,
Yeah.
everybody's like, yo, this is crazy. That's insane. We get a couple of reactions. We get Vegapunk,
Yes.
Kizaru, and, but between the two characters, who do you want to tackle first?
I think Kizaru last. So whichever order, and then Kizaru last.
Okay, well, we'll do, actually, I lied. There's also the Luffy thing that we need to talk about. Where will we
Yeah.
put that one in middle?
I think Luffy, since he isn't here, I think maybe very end, right? Like,
Okay.
yeah,
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 we'll
yeah.
do Vegapunk, Kizaru, then Luffy then.
Okay.
So Vegapunk is wondering what the hell's going on here, right? He's like,
Yeah.
hey, the Buccaneers were said to have special characteristics beyond their strong bodies. After all, you people once ... And let me tell you, I'm so used to being blue balled at this point that this line, I was just like, yep, classic Oda. Like, classic Oda. Yeah, I gotcha. Who? So I
Yes.
completely ignored it for the most part. But, like, do you have any ideas as to what's going on here?
Nah, well, one, I agree with you, except I was still mad. Like, it's classic Oda, but this was probably the most upsetting blue ball in like recent history because it's inner monologue. There's no, this makes, and especially in the same chapter where Saturn gets out 5 sentences mid punch. Meanwhile, Vegapunk, the smartest man alive, can't think faster. At that point, just put more lines. I see a bunch of blank space in this
Oh,
hide,
what if
right?
there's no
Like,
Wi-Fi here and he's just like
he's right,
disconnected to
he's
the yeah,
lobotomized.
he's disconnected to Punk Records, so he actually couldn't finish that thought.
Yeah,
You ever
yeah.
think
He's
about
like,
that, Par?
we
I'm
see him
Vegapunk's PR
readjust
too.
his Apple a little bit later. And he's like,
Yeah,
oh,
it
let
just
me finish
screws
that
it on.
sentence real quick. Yo, but like as
Huh.
far as I mean, reasonably, I'm definitely this is the part of the chapter that I think like for me lingers the most because this is where the theory crafting part comes in. But the surface level thing that I think of is like the strong bodies like you can't help but think about like Blackbeard in my opinion and like the special characters special bodies and it's like we so many people at this point have pointed out they look similar, they similar body type,
Yeah.
whatever, and Blackbeard has that mystery characteristic. So it's like whatever Vegapunk was gonna say here, I think the simplest route is that it'll end up connecting us to Blackbeard stuff, which probably doesn't come up now. And if Blackbeard is relevant later on, would it come up then, or it comes up later when like Oda can do a cool thing where he talks about Vegapunk, like Vegapunk gives us this information while we're on Egghead, and we cut to Blackbeard stuff late somewhere else. So
That'd be funny.
it's like you said, it's classic Oda, but it like if anything, the one thing I've learned, it's like Oda does this when the rest of that sentence is relevant to the chapter, at minimum. Um, at least to situations that are as this that has carries this much gravity. But yeah, that one like my God, like at least the good thing is the cool thing is I do like that like um there's like he's acknowledging that Kuma is demonstrating something that's beyond science. That like there is an aspect to the One Piece world that Vegapunk, and we already knew this. We already knew that the Void Century carries many mysteries that's beyond Vegapunk. And one thing that now gets associated with that in my mind is now whatever Kuma's demonstrating right here is probably closer to Void Century stuff than it is to what Vegapunk is, and that's our bridge, our connector, right? Like this can be used as a pivot point to like talking about Void Century stuff. And I'm curious to know because after this point he gets carried off. I'm curious to know what information Oda will give us from that, right? Because he's carrying him off screen, Vegapunk's handling it, but I wonder like what value that this uh will give us, like if it will give us value, because Atlas, for example, she got taken out by Lucci, she got carried off screen, and not that it added no value, but we do know that she came back within like even like 5 minutes in the One Piece world, like maybe like two chapters later she's back. And so we don't know how, we don't know what they did, we don't know to what capacity she's similar to Kuma. But if he's able to just wheel Kuma back, and then what, he's able to bring him back, like what's gonna happen, does the bubble that Bonnie went into, does that bubble stay, or because she accessed it. Now the bubble's gone, right? Because I think Kuma gave us the line saying that like it'll disappear if you access it, if you see into it. But
Yeah.
Vegapunk said he has the tech to look into it without touching it. So do we have some sort of semblance of Kuma's memory that he's able to put back into Kuma and to restore him? I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know
I'd
what
say
value
Kuma
this
already
part
has
is.
his memories. Like he went like it looked like the Kuma robot went through the flashback. So I feel
And
like he
that's
has the memories. He just needs like the consciousness back.
it's weird because like the way I saw that scene is like he has like those are the those specific things. Those are the people
Yeah.
he loved the most. Those are like the most like traumatic parts, right? The parts that like as far as your memory goes, you remember your highs really well and your lows, like the radicals, right? But the in
Yeah.
betweens, he might not necessarily like that. Like as far as a robot goes, right? If he's just like his life is flashing before his eyes, he's remembering he's looking at the dude's face. He's recalling the last time he sees him. You're the Buccaneer brat. Then he goes to that conversation, but then he goes to his dad, his mom passing away, his dad passing away, his best friend, and then his best friend dying, praying for his best friend, and then Bonnie, right? So it's like those aren't like just any sort of memories. Those are like the highs and the or there are no
Actually,
highs. There are no
I
highs. There are
I
only
saw that
lows.
more so as events in his life that Saturn was tied to.
Oh, yeah, that's fair too. That's an
That's kind of
interesting
how I
one.
saw it.
The thing is, Saturn's not tied to anything related to his father, right?
Well, I mean, Saturn is a Gorosei member and a celestial dragon that owns slaves, though.
Yeah, but like he's
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue that it has nothing to do with it, and it's like you said, the highs and the lows. But
like
as
that middle percent, like with his mom and
yeah,
his dad. That has nothing to do with Saturn. He might not have ever seen Saturn then.
oh yeah, no, I don't think he did.
Yeah,
But like I said,
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like because it's Saturn and because he is like a Gorosei celestial, I feel like that
Yeah,
is why like he's tied in there. Like between all of this like flashback, I feel like it all ties back to Saturn.
I would.
Ginny's suffering,
Yeah,
you know, the whole like I'm sorry, death's door, Bonnie, the slavery aspect of his life.
I would
Saturn is
agree.
like a root cause of all of that, in my opinion.
I would agree with it more if it was like sequence of events because Oda actually put it out of order. And that's why I went to the whole like
Yeah.
it was like, oh, these are just like the important people. That's why I went to that. But if it was like in
Mm.
sequential order, then I would be like, okay, it's just like a chronological thing of how the Celestials fucked them over, right? But like Oda chose to go out of order for some reason, and I was just like, oh, it's because it's like his mom died, his dad died, his best friend died, and then the last person he cares about, he ain't letting that person die, and that's Bonnie, right? So that's why I went to that. But I'm not saying
That's fair.
what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying that's my thing is like only it's like why would Oda do this out of order? And that was my interpretation when I was reading it. Um, because the out of order thing, I feel like Oda, I don't even remember last time Oda did an out of order like rehashing flashback. It's a hard memory to recall, but now I'm kind of curious to look back at that. But as far as like you know, Kuma being in his body, I agree with you that like there is a nuance here of and this is going to be in a video, but I don't know when, so I'll just say it full out right here. Because it's a boring video for the community. Like it's not a video that I could even like spin the thumbnail to for people to click on. But I like these kinds of videos. These are my favorite ones where it's like really nitpicking on this concept in Thriller Bark where Ryuma to a certain extent remembered like himself and to a certain extent like there's a separation of him and Brooke's shadow that was in him, and we don't fully grasp why that is besides what Moria said. He said like stronger people and stronger bodies can retain their memories to a certain extent. Ryuma being sword god, being like Zoro, like the like the end point, so to say, of because like Mihawk's not sword god, but like Ryuma is. And so as far as that goes, it's like he was able to retain his memory and all he had was his body. He did have his sword, and I did want to talk about that in the thing, but there are moments where he like lets go of his sword and he still like I think he gets a line in or something like that. But that being said, how did Ryuman retain it if it's just his body? That's an inkling to tell you that, yeah, there are memories within just his body. Ryuma only had his dead corpse, and he was able to retain his swordsmanship to a certain extent. He was using it through Brook, but I think even Brook said like, yo, this is my swords technique but way better. Why? Because it's Ryuma. And it's like, that's what like the thing of this situation. I feel like it's like a remnants of Kuma, but it's not fully there. If Vegapunk's able to give him the full memories and stuff, then that's where I think like the personality and things like that probably could also come in too, because that's a specific thing where it's like Kuma never got a word in yet. That's my thing. It's like if Kuma speaks, then that tells me that he's back, and he hasn't spoken yet. So once he speaks, I think we're good.
Do you think he will speak?
Well, that's where we're
it's a hard one, huh?
Predictions. And
yeah, predictions. Do you think he's gonna speak?
Personally, I want him to, and I want him to so badly that I think he will. I think he will speak, but I don't think it's gonna be like, I don't think it's gonna be, I think it's like the like Ginny last, like, you know, she calls Kuma, it's like, haha, I'm dying, blah 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 blah, and then she like he shows up, and like I don't forget if she actually said something to Kuma while she was there. I think Kuma showed up and she was already kind of like dead. Everything that he learned was from the people that were there who talked to Ginny
the elders.
So not that saying that's when it's gonna happen, but it's kind of like that. It's like you don't get much dialogue. You get like Ginny basically said like, don't worry guys, I lived a great life. Thank you guys for everything. And here's my daughter. And Kuma basically says like, he puts a hand on on Bonnie and Luffy, and he said, "You are my children." And then that's where we effectively have Kuma adopt Luffy away from. He takes
ownership from Dragon.
Yeah, he emancipates Luffy from Dragon, because at least Kuma's canonically verbally said like, they are my legacy. You know what I mean? In his last moments, he claimed Luffy. He said, "Yep, if I had a son, it looked like that kid." You know, I saw him punch that Celestial Dragon in his goddamn face, you know? And the thing is, Kuma took notes. We know he took notes. He hit that shit panel for panel, just like Luffy did, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I like to imagine he was like, man, if Luffy can do it, I can do it too.
Yo, it shifted. In tough times, I used to think, what would Dragon do? But then I met Luffy, and I started thinking, what would Luffy do?
Yeah.
That's, oh man, someone needs to make an edit for that. That's a good one. There are so many Luffy Dragon like meme edits on Twitter. It's fun. It's a funny thing. Ooh,
it's so good. It's a good chapter, man. As far as like Kuma punching the Celestial, you know, Vegapunk like wondering about the Buccaneer bodies. On top of all of this, we also have Kizaru, who was just kind of thrown into the mix. And after Saturn gets hit, he says, "It's over, isn't it?" And I've seen people like, you know, going back and forth between like, oh, he's talking about Kuma moving, like, you know, Kuma's over. He could be talking about Saturn, and he's like, oh, you know, it's finally done. I can go home. Saturn's gone. Where do you fall on that?
I don't know where. I don't think I agree with a lot of the agendas, but like at this point, I think I feel like, and this is agenda. This is agreeing. I don't know who's saying this, but like, I do feel like him saying it's over, isn't it? Doesn't make sense with what he says at the end, right? Like with the Saturn thing. I feel like those are two different, like do we get a reaction of when Saturn actually shows up? Because when Kizaru does that, that's before Saturn shows up. Like everybody, the Marines, everybody, like they're just like, oh my god, he got punched. Is he like nobody thinks that he's or nobody says like he's dead. They're like, he's under the rubble, someone go help him, right? But like him saying, and I want to, not that I trust the Viz more than any other translator at this point, but like I do want to see the raws. I want to see like, I want to get connotation, because like it's over, isn't it? Like that, the way it's said is like, it makes it seem like he's talking about Saturn, and then the whole procession of the line, like the way the rest of that panel goes, the strip goes, Sentamaru gives Kuma the recognition. He's like, Kuma, he's saying it internally, right? But then
Yeah.
thereafter, the Marines go, oh wait, never mind, never mind. They're talking about the straw hat missing. I was mixing up the two lines, but like they're talking about Saturn as if he's like out of commission. They don't know that he can regenerate to this extent. I don't think, unless that's common knowledge. I don't know, but like I feel like it's weirder to think that Kizaru is saying it's over, isn't it? Because Kuma hit Saturn, and now Saturn is going to pull the trigger on like ending everybody. And because the reasonable thing is that yeah, now a buster call is going to be called. But I said it, I was like, I don't think Kizaru is afraid of a buster call. I don't think
Yeah.
if Kizaru is on an
I don't
island
think
and
so
someone
either.
called 100 ship buster call on Kizaru, I don't think he's worried. I don't think he thinks that Luffy would be worried. I don't think that he thinks most of the Straw Hats would be worried about a buster call. Sure, buster call can be threatening, but like when you think about it, it's like, oh man, it's over, isn't it? So between what he knows that Saturn's gonna get up, and like now Saturn's serious that it's over, but like, wouldn't it just be over that Saturn showed up? Period. I feel like it makes a little bit more sense in my mind that it's over, isn't it? Is like, I feel like he was just like, oh man, like we got rid of this problem, so now like we can move on. But I don't know. I honestly don't know because on the flip side, him saying it's over, isn't it, is weirder because then he has to take responsibility of the Gorosei being taken down. Like that doesn't make sense either. Um, but again, I just fall back to like I just feel like that line and then him saying, now that Kuma's joined us, wouldn't you agree there are too many players on the board? I think it's about time we wrap this up. And then he goes, and then people like clip that out and don't put the part where it says, I should have brought a darker pair of shades. I'm going to embarrass myself at this rate. And it's like that's very obviously alluding to him like holding back tears, right? Like holding
Yeah.
back and like people talking about like Kizaru not being reasonable to think that Kizaru has like some kind of side on Vegapunk or the Straw Hats, period. When he literally is like we have a close up of him like saying, "Yo, I need to hide these. It's embarrassing right now. I might
Yeah.
actually bust out tears right here." And it's like, yeah, like maybe he was happier that like Kuma showed up and punched him, but like I don't know. It's a weird thing. We need next chapter. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kizaru delivering food, the stocks for that seem lower this time around. Now
Yeah.
that Kizaru is still playing on the enemy's team,
Yeah.
but Kizaru's still like hoping that we win or like the Straw Hats or Vegapunk wins. That's still there. I feel like that's actually higher this time around. I feel like the more we get out of Kizaru, the more like the more the chances of him switching sides like gets propelled.
And here's the thing. Here's the I in my opinion why it makes sense that Kizaru's playing both sides to a certain extent is he himself goes, wouldn't you agree there are too many players on the board? If you're this is like this goes back to an example I think fits really well is people talk about like Shiki and like chapter 0, Garp and Sengoku. It took Garp and Sengoku, both of them, to stop Shiki from Marineford. But they're not looking at it like two like players on a chessboard. They're looking at it like, yo, we're gonna stop him from destroying our thing because he rolled up with 10 ships and dropping them on civilians. Like, we're gonna stop him. It's not about balancing the board. It's about stopping this crazy mother. Like, it's about stopping this dude. Whereas Kizaru is talking about the current situation as like a balancing act. Like, he's like, there are too many players on the board. Like, now the Kuma's here, right? And it's like, well, Kuma wasn't here when Luffy was being fed, right? So it's like, so was he balancing the board here? Is that what was happening? The fact that he's talking about it when he should have no regard for the other side, and he regards it as as too many, like that implies that like if Kuma didn't show up, what he wouldn't help. That's kind of what he's saying, right?
I
He's
don't
saying,
know,
I think
dude.
it's about time we wrap this up. He's saying like if Kuma didn't show up, there would be no rush for him to rejoin. But then he also had the line of like, "Oh, I'm out for the count." But then he gets up like not even like he gets up perfectly fine. Like, you know what I mean? It
When he says it's
feels
about time
weird.
to wrap this up, no, I agree. It does feel weird. But I feel like as far as like wrapping things up, it's like I think he just wants to get this over with. Like this man is going through so much pain. Like he just wants to rip the band-aid off and just go home, drink a nice glass of whiskey. But
And I can
yeah,
see, like it's like the Sentamaru thing, right? Because I
yeah,
was playing that with my mind too. It's like when when Saturn was saying like, why don't you just kill him or just skip him? I think he said skip him or something like that. And
yeah,
then
just fly over
Kizaru,
him.
yeah, because I was just like, well, that wouldn't be effective. Like, let me take care of it. Let me do it my way. And then Saturn's like, oh, rats. I guess so.
Ah,
Everything's so
damn.
complicated, you know. My old scientific brain can't handle this chessboard you're playing with, Kizaru. I'll let you handle it, right? And so Kizaru's here, and he's it's kind of the same thing where it's like Kuma's joining, and he's saying it's like it's more complicated now. I can see him saying that um regardless of what side you're on, I feel like the words are coded where it's like, I think that another side of interpretation would be that like he wants to handle the Kuma situation. He doesn't want the Saturn to handle it.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I don't think he wants Saturn to handle any of this, like Vegapunk or
yeah,
anybody else. Like I think
yeah,
Kizaru, if he goes through with it fully, he wants to be the one who does it.
which is and that line of logic
Yeah.
for me is the weird part where it's like when Kizaru's down for the count, and if there's someone who thinks that like Kizaru isn't down for the count, he was just like stalling a little bit, then it doesn't make sense. If he wanted to handle it and not let Saturn take the reins at any part, then he wouldn't fake that, right? So then you'd have to be looking at it like with like two like lenses of like that actually like he actually is down for the count. That being said, he's perfectly fine now, like minutes later, whereas like Luffy is still not in this chapter, by the way, you know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
Luffy actively took down
MIA.
Kizaru to the point where like they're equally out for the count, and Luffy's still down, but Kizaru is standing up like, all right, let's take care of this really quickly, you know what I mean? And it's like what was the last? It's like, oh man, I can't believe I lost. Like it was like 4 exclamation points or whatever he said that, and now he's just like, yeah. I'm not getting paid enough for this now,
Yeah, we
right?
need to get out of here. It's about to hit overtime.
Yeah, I feel like a minimum there are not conflicting panels, but the panels aren't straightforward. In my
Um,
opinion.
I think Kizaru right now.
Mm-hmm.
I like to imagine if we read One Piece weekly the year it released, I feel like we'd be having this exact same conversation about
Mm-hmm.
Gin at the Baratier.
Okay.
Because Sanji fed him, they have that little relationship. You had a Gin crying because of the food and thanking
Because
Sanji.
I was weekly anime. I'm
Yeah.
so I do recall being in the shoes, and I wouldn't say that though. I
Because for
can
Gin, like Gin went like he beat Pearl, who was about to beat Sanji, and then he was like, Don Krieg, let me do things my way. I want to be the one who puts him down. And then they
yeah.
fight all the way to the very end. Gin is about to do the killing blow on Sanji. And then he starts crying. He's like, actually, I can't do this. I'm getting the same vibe from Kizaru. Like, I feel like he's going to
Okay.
go 90%. And then at the last minute where he actually has to kill Vegapunk or where he actually has to kill Bonnie and Sentomaru and Kuma, I don't think he's going to pull the trigger.
I don't think it's the same degree, but that's
No, not the
because
same degree. Like very different, very
the
different.
stakes
But
are a lot higher now. So
yeah,
the fact that Jin was Jin was doing that, like where the complex situation is my captain versus the guy who fed me, versus Kizaru is like the people I like Vegapunk I've known for like at this point we don't know, but like 40 years, because he was there when they picked not 40 years, but like they were good friends by the time
like
they
30
adopted
years ish.
Sentomaru.
Yeah,
Yeah, I danced with Kuma. His daughter's story made me cry. Like we don't know what
everybody's
ties
fighting the best they can right now. Like
yeah,
yeah, no,
like
it's definitely more complex. Like it's hard to compare like chapter 50 One Piece versus
yeah,
chapter 1104. But I
yeah.
feel like the betrayal
I
aspects
get
of
what
it are
you're
kind of the same. Yeah, like
I
the
get what you're
emotions of it.
saying, because
Like it's not an easy choice to betray your
the
captain.
to the extent of like um if we were to flesh out Jin a little bit more, like what we're getting of Kizaru is not the actions. We're getting the well, besides the Luffy fight, right? And like
Yeah.
and then like this part where he like stops Sanji or Frankie, right? It's like the we're getting the dialogue behind the actions, and we're trying to decipher what actions he might take based off the dialogue. Whereas Jin, Oda just cut the bullshit. He just straight up, he literally knocked out Don Creek. We didn't need to ask him like, yo, what are you? We're like, yo, Don Creek or Jin, why did you do? And then he answers it. But we don't have to ask what side he's on because we saw him literally knock Pearl out, knock Don Creek out, knock like pin down Sanji.
Oh yeah, whoa, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah, whereas
We
like
got a long way to go.
if you wanted the full thing here, it's like we need to see him like say like to like Luffy like I heard you like me. I don't even know like what it is with the feeding thing, but switching to the Luffy stuff, it's like Luffy's not in this chapter, which is to me that's really wild. For me, that's wild because last chapter that was like, and in this chapter too, the Marines are out here like, yo, we forgot about him. We forgot about a Yonko.
How do you forget about
down.
the sun god? Like a Yonko, right? Like you blink and then you're like, oh my god, an Emperor of the Sea's gone.
Yeah, there's not a single. I said it. There's not a single other Yonko that would get disrespected like this. Not even Buggy would get this hard disrespected.
Oh, dude, if it was Buggy, they'd be sweating hard. They're like, Buggy?
Yeah,
the genius jester. He's gone.
The guy who simulcasted Marineford?
The leader of Mihawk and Crocodile?
He survived the strongest swordsman slashes. Not one, not two, 100.
The cabin brother of red-haired Shanks?
Yeah, like
sailed with Gold Rush yet. Just hype up Buggy.
Not a single Yonko, past or present, would get disrespected this hard to the point where like you have to say it's plot because like last chapter, like they all were like, who's feeding him? They saw piles of food and like they had plenty of time to like they were like, seize him, stop him, but like let's not even stop there. Let's talk about the fact that Luffy was down for the count, old man form, and they didn't put sea stone cuffs on him. They waited till he started eating. Like the amount of disrespect for plot that Luffy's getting right now is insane. And in this chapter, for him not to appear, there has to be funny business. There has to be funny business that's like, I don't know what the funny business is, but like in my opinion, the options for who gave him the food expanded, right? We made the list last week and we minimized a lot of the people for the sake of Kizaru because it made a lot of sense back then. But this chapter, I think it lowers Kizaru, but every other option's out there now. Like everyone besides Smoker. Like I feel like I'd hate it if Smoker was here doing that. But like Caribou, very obviously, I think Oda added that line of like, where did he go? Where did the sun god go? Like that's going to imply that like, yeah, stealth isn't a huge deal because like they're just oblivious. They're just straight up just oblivious.
Super oblivious.
Last chapter, I felt that stealth mattered a lot more because the awareness of like the environment and setting was really important. Like the encirclement where Luffy was, Kuma landing.
It was really tense.
Yeah, and it was like a more serious situation. Whereas like not that it's not serious here, but that part almost goes to comedic relief. I would argue that that's like comedic relief where the guy goes, where's Straw Hat? He disappeared right before we could apprehend him. There's no way we can call him such a failure. It's like, bro, that's the only failure. You're God. The Gorosei just got punched through the island. You have to get your man through rubble, and now you're thinking about the sun god. Like there's many fronts you're messing up on, and allowing piles of food to just appear in front of Luffy is not even the biggest one, I feel.
Oh, yeah. So as far as the food goes, I feel like the stocks for Caribou have gone up.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the only plausible answer now. Kizaru for the time. I know people are saying, oh, look at people backpedaling on the Kizaru route. No. I will stand by that one. Kizaru last chapter was a very good candidate. Mm-hmm. Like, if you never got this chapter, Kizaru is still a top candidate for that. But of course, as the story progresses, he's not a candidate anymore. Or at least that's how I see it. I feel
Wait,
like
what? Sai, a story changes as a chapter
yeah,
comes
yeah,
out and you
believe it or
get new
not.
information?
Believe it or not, ideas are great at the time, but they don't have to be great in the future, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I'm not gonna go back into like the 1970s and diss their clothes. No, no, that's the style of the time. For its time, Kizaru being the main option for food, I still stand by that. That was a very solid idea 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago. But of course, the story goes on. We learn that Kizaru is still having like his whole inner turmoil. So yeah, Kizaru probably isn't the one who delivered the food. But I still think people are blind to say that it wasn't him outright, though. I still think that's a really dumb take.
I'll
You'd
also
actually, you would need darker sunglasses than Kizaru to be that dumb.
I'll also go out and say like there's a world where he still is the person because to me the line where he goes like now that what do you say, the players on the chessboard or whatever,
Yeah.
too many players on the chessboard, like I'm just kind of like when he fed him, was Kuma already announced to be on the island, or it was before,
No,
right? Yeah.
it
So
was
it's like
before that.
I almost imagine like if it were Kizaru, right? I'm thinking about it like this. Like imagine if Kuma came a little bit earlier, would he have fed Luffy? I don't know. And that's like the interesting
Probably
part,
not. He's
right?
like, oh, well, we have Kuma now. No, no worries, no
And
worries.
and that's the like, measuring out like which one's the possibility. And I feel like the one thing that I will lean on as far as why Caribou makes a lot of sense and always has made a lot of sense, like we literally said him second, I think, in our
Yeah,
list.
he was our second pick for food
Yeah.
deliverer.
And like, yeah, quantifying that is ridiculous because it's like this is his MO. It's like,
Who's more likely to deliver food?
yeah,
I love that. We had a whole list.
but at least like his Caribou has the Onigashima, like that's what he did. That's what he's there for. That's what
Yeah.
his entire fruit apparently is like. The purpose is has an endless stomach, or as he says it. But like the reason why I like that option more, and I've liked that more than Kizaru, is because there's also not a lot of characters. Like when Luffy goes, when he falls off of Onigashima and the Heart Pirates pick him up, the Heart Pirates don't know how to fix him. It takes Luffy to go like, meat, I need meat, and then they're like, what? And then Caribou's like, I got all the meat you'll ever need, Straw Hat Luffy. And he gives Luffy the meat, and it's like that's not a normal occurrence. That's not a normal when Luffy was in Impel Down, right? And he gets healed. Like the normal thing, if I was a caretaker, and I think even hospitals in the ER, the first thing that they think of when someone's recovered is how do they feed them? Do we need to give them an IV? Do we need to whatever? Luffy had to bust down the door to be like, "Where's my motherfucking food, guys?" Like, hello, and he ate all the meat, and they're like, "Oh my god." He eats a lot of meat. It's like, man, he just went through like 9 people's lives. Of course he needs to eat, but somehow that's like not common knowledge. And I feel like that's applicable here. It's like, how many people know that Luffy needs to eat to like recover, right?
Oh well, to be fair, Luffy said it last chapter.
Oh yeah, he did say that.
Yeah,
But did he say it? Did he say
he said last chapter I need food. Let me see.
Does he say it loud enough? Yeah, let me see. Does he say it loud enough where it's like,
I wouldn't say loud, but he's in the inner circle. He says, "Food, someone give me food."
like so because the way I remembered it was it's like, food, give me some food, and like it's not really interpretable. So it's like I don't know if other people hear it, and like if people are like, oh, that's crazy, dialogue's heard by everyone. It's like, let me tell you, Stussy answered
Well,
the Den
to be
Mushi in front of
fair,
everybody.
we did have people respond to it. Like I think Atlas, Atlas is the one who responded to it.
Yeah, but she's like close to him though, right?
I mean, but I mean, everybody in this circle is close to him.
Everybody
To be
else
fair,
is like, and then here's the clap back to that. Their asses are running to him. He's a Yonko. They're like, how did we let this happen? And then this chapter is like, he disappeared right before our eyes. Apparently, he could be missing, and they're running at him.
He's like Kuroko from Kuroko's No Basket. He just disappears.
Yeah, he's laying on the ground
using misdirection.
Moving. Like it's really interesting. And then Saturn is the one who goes, hey, who gave him food? And maybe Saturn knows that Nika needs food. You know what I mean? Like maybe nobody else recognizes
It's such a
you can even say it like this,
main character thing. I'm sure the old Joy Boy was also like this too, where he just needed food.
And my point is like when I don't remember exactly, but the Heart Pirates, like when Luffy goes like screams out meat or whatever, it's like what? You know what I mean? Like you could almost say like, yeah, everybody hears it, but like, are people taking him seriously? Like they have their guns pointed at Bonnie, and then this guy goes me, and it's like, oh, okay. And then when Saturn is the one who goes like, wait a second, who's giving him the meat? And they're like, wait, that's an important thing. That's a part of the plot. We need to worry about that. But like, there again, there's so much back and forth on like how much emphasis like Luffy's getting. Period. That it's sort of disrespectful that like they're just like not acknowledging him. Period.
I
He's
mean, then
able to
again,
eat.
like their
They're
boss has
not
got
giving him a
knocked through
sea
a couple of
stone.
walls.
No, I'm talking about Prior. I'm talking about Prior.
Oh, prior.
When Big Mom in Udon prison, right? Every opportunity to wrap her ass in chains is there, right? Queen put that respect on that name multiple times. He used all the sea stone they had in Wano, apparently, like and locked her down onto the ship. I think like even when Big Mom was like, unlock me, he was like, no. And Kaido's like, it's fine. Or so I forget what happened, but like and Queen's like, are you serious? Like Big Mom? And then that's when it came out that like they were big bro, little bro, same crew, all that stuff. And they're like, what do you mean? And all that stuff. Like, but I don't remember exactly. But like it's crazy. It's crazy that like Luffy's here at this point. He's literally the main antagonist right now. There's nobody else here.
And
they're
nobody
like,
wrapped him up in sea stone.
or worried about him. They lost eyesight on him. That's crazy. This is wild to me. Like to people who saying it's straightforward, it's not. Like there's some of this is plot, some of this is not. Some of this is like, will this matter? I don't know until we get it. Who's revealed as like the person? I don't know. The one thing I did like something someone said, and I couldn't like combat it from memory. I was like, I feel like I was like at a doctor's thing or something like that, but someone said it couldn't be Kizaru because the way Oda always shows Kizaru's movement is like flashy and it's like the glint glint. And they were saying like we haven't seen like Kizaru. Yes, he's capable of moving light speed, but that being said, we haven't seen his like abilities to be like stealthy. Not stealthy. He used the word. He said like it was flashier, and I kind of liked that. I was like, you know what?
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, so like if like he would grab a lot of attention moving, and like that was one comment. I didn't see a single other person say that, and I was like, all right, I can agree with that one. That's a solid thing. You're right.
Yeah,
it's called the glint glint fruit. I'm thinking about Sabaody. The only one of difference I think, and I don't know how it went down, was when Kizaru showed up at like having Usopp at his throat and like Luffy was fighting him. But that was also like clone stuff. Like he threw clones at Luffy and stuff. And so like we don't know how that went down. But yeah, like there's a stealth, not stealth, like there's a shiny, flashy aspect to Kizaru's power that does exist that would make this a little bit more difficult to do. But I would imagine anything that like Caribou's like known to be sneaky, but like he's just moving mud isn't sneaky. I don't know about you, Sai. I would tell you to get your eyes checked if moving mud in like, I guess it's rubble, but like
I like how you say moving mud. That's such a funny way to think about it.
It also would have to
moving
come from
mud.
the sky, right? Because Caribou was last on the Thousand Sunny in the sky, so it's like even if it were Caribou, like at this point, there was someone who brought up the legendary Iron Giant bringing the food, but they didn't say this part because like that's ridiculous. The legendary Iron Giant, this huge ass thing bringing the thing, and I'm like, we don't know how big it is, but like we do know that it has tech beyond Vegapunk. Maybe it has stealth beyond this time.
That would be crazy. Just an invisible Iron Giant delivering food.
It's just invisible in the background.
I don't know.
Like Saturn didn't lose his horn or arm on buildings. He actually bumped into the legendary Iron Giant on his way. We just didn't see it.
You know, like you know how we had the tier list of food candidates? I put the Iron Giant probably at the bottom.
On the bottom?
Yeah, I put him on the bottom, unfortunately. He's just the least stealthiest person. From this week, though, I'd say Caribou's definitely number one. Kizaru is still number 2 above Robin, in my opinion.
Kizaru above. Yeah, I could see.
So the list changed, and you know, like I said, if you read the chapter last week and if you didn't like the Kizaru option because you didn't want Kizaru to be that guy, that's fine. But to say that you don't see why people thought Kizaru would be the one is a little bit disingenuous, or you just can't read. I mean, it could be either one. Like it could either be you have no eyes or you don't like the option. If you don't like the option, that's cool. That's cool.
Oh, and then to give clarification, Sai's not saying if you disagree, you're dumb. He's saying that if you're not open to other options,
Yeah.
then One Piece is maybe like maybe you're a new reader. You know what I mean? Like
Maybe you're a new reader, yeah. Like because that's the thing. Like I said, Kizaru's number one, and then guess what? This week I say Caribou's number one. I change with the story. You know, the way the story goes. Sure, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. So to immediately block out any option you dislike is kind of strange.
Yeah.
It's like people who see, like, well, people will say like we have an agenda. Like, oh, like certain people like other characters more, but it's like at the same time, like, I don't know why it has to be that way. Like, I don't know why we have to view it like that rather than just like reading the story and coming to our own conclusions.
Well, then, yeah, but side, they'll tell you, like, what story you reading? Aren't you adding a lot of your own headcanon to this? And it's like, well, that's also why you spend hours explaining your thought. But, like, a lot of times, because the reason why I said what I said earlier was because somebody came from this call and also didn't listen to all of it or the other one and said, Par, how could you call people stupid for not thinking it's Kizaru? And I was like, I never said that. And that makes no sense for me to say because I literally in that call said Smoker is a good option. So it's like
you know what? More people called you out for the Kizaru option rather than fucking Smoker. Wait. Think about that. Like, think about that for a second. You're like, hey, Par, you think Kizaru's the one who brought food? And then Par's the guy who said Smoker could have done it.
Yeah, no, and then
way.
I didn't even combat people.
I didn't even think about that. That's so funny.
Thing. But my thing was like, I know that you didn't listen to anything that I said because your words are me insulting myself. You're saying that I said I think that anybody who doesn't think it's Kizaru is stupid. Meanwhile, I said, yo, Tsai, you know what would be really funny? If it's actually Smoker.
And here's the thing. I left the call and I made fun of you for that too.
Yeah.
I remember calling up some friends. I was like, hey, you won't believe what Par said. I was like, he brought up Smoker. And then we all laughed and everything. It was great. Like, it's just one of those things.
And that's my thing. Like, I literally spent 2 hours on my chapter reaction stream.
Well, wait, Smoker was your number two?
Options. Smoker wasn't my number two. From my memory, it was an honorable. It was an honorable mention at the end of the list. I was like, right before you say the last one, let me hit you with some crazy stuff. And
it was like your 1.5, if anything.
No, it wasn't no, it was an honorable mention.
You had Smoker high up there.
Oh my
god. Holy crap. Yeah, no, dude. Like, if you want to make fun of somebody, guys, like, actually just go to Par. Jesus Christ.
I just want to show, this is Sai is demonstrating what the people actually did. Like, he knows what was said and he's being obtuse about it. And, like, I
don't know what you're talking about.
Exhibit A. This is what and it was for me. I normally wouldn't like even respond to it because Kizaru slander is just like
it's hard to talk about characters nowadays without people not playing favorites or like, oh, there's an agenda going on. And it's like, damn, dude, like I feel like I can't talk about pirates anymore. It's like, damn, is it an agenda? Is it not? I don't know.
Like I'll respond to that on a stream where I can, like, if people come to it and I'll answer all of it. Because if you answer one, then there's going to be 100 comments about that. And it's like, I'm not going to answer every single time because that's how common that either misunderstanding or like agenda that filled it was, where it's like Twitter discourse, there's no point of addressing it in the comment section because it's like, it's brain broken, like logic. As far as like the depth that Twitter goes to, I'm not saying the conversation is dumb. I'm saying like the way people handled the conversation. And so the reason why I answered it was because it seemed different. Like, it seemed like a unique comment, but also they came to like a rewind stream where I wasn't even talking about One Piece. I was like, wow, 2023 was crazy. And then they're like, Par, how dare you say? I was like, what? what are you doing? What are you doing on this thing that you're so upset at me, and not even at me, like some random person who said whatever you wanted to hear. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. But so that's why I gave that extra clarification. So I'm not calling you dumb for saying that. He's calling you a new reader if you're not at least open
Close-minded.
to unique ideas in a story such as One Piece.
Like, I think there's one commenter who's actually everywhere. I see them in our live streams all the time. Emoji. They don't like the Kizaru option. They don't like Kizaru option, but that's totally fine. They don't like it. That's cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the
Mimoji doesn't
conclusion they
attack
came
me.
to is that they see where we're coming from at least. And it's like,
Yes.
okay, there we go. That's huge. Whoa, character development.
Well,
Like that.
Mimoji's solid. I know Mimoji.
Yeah,
I know,
it's like
yeah.
we're not asking people to change their opinions. It's simply like this is a route they could go.
Yeah,
This is a
yeah.
One Piece route that we've seen before. Like,
You
it's
know-
not anything insane.
You saying that in the live stream, you came in at the
Like,
end.
sometimes it
Mimoji-
feels like we're flat earthers. We're trying to convince people that the earth is flat or something. Like, I'm a Scientologist. Like, guys, you won't believe this one. Like, I don't know.
shout outs to Mimoji.
It's so
It
interesting.
was,
Yeah, shout out to
their-
Memoji.
Their birthday recently, but also they came into the stream and literally said
On
that
birthday.
they said, and we read it. I'm pretty sure we both at least mentally read it, but like they were like, I heavily disagree with the Kizaru thing, but and then they're like, I understand why, like the conversation, and we were just like, yep, that's a same.
Yeah,
thing.
that's a good comment. Yeah. Like, if you disagree, if you don't like it, cool. But like, to say you don't see why is wild.
Yes, agreed.
And then somehow, like, the debate always turns into, oh, well, these guys like admirals. And I don't even think Par is an admiral fan. I don't think Par likes Marines at all. See, look, he's guessing it. So pretty much it's a no. Like, that's how it is.
Admirals and Marines. Like, you're not gonna catch me remembering. Like, yes, like Bluegrass, special place in the heart. Momonga, special place in the heart.
Yeah, special place in the heart.
Strawberry.
Smoker's different though. Smoker's always gonna be 1.5 on the list.
No, I'm not Morge. Okay, Morge and a few other creators have this like dead set thing about Smoker in the
Really?
wildest. Yeah, Morge's favorite. Morge is the one who said Smoker for Straw Hat. And like,
Wait,
actually, yeah, actually, like that's a theory. That's one of the first things when I brought him on stream. People were like, "Do you?" Before I knew anybody in the community, I was just like, just minding my own business, and people are like, "But Smoker for Straw." I was like, what is this? And then like, oh, see, there's this guy you look really alike to. We don't look anything alike. And then they're like telling me about Morge via the Smoker theory. I'm like,
You
who is
do
this
look
theorist?
like Morge.
And they're introducing me to Morge. There's two ways. It was either the raid failing or Smoker for Straw Hat. Neither of which are great ways to introduce somebody. I'm like, who the hell?
The
is
raid
this?
can still fail. We're down, but we're not
The
out.
raid is still going. Kinemon is still alive. In my book, the raid is a failure at that point.
I like to imagine when you go to Wano, there's like battle music still playing.
That'd
be hilarious.
Just peeing in the bathroom, and then he's like, "What's that random?"
It's like a it's like a glitch in a game where like like you just beat all the enemies and now you're ready to like sit down at a checkpoint, but it says enemies still nearby, you're still in combat. That's
Oh my
Kinemon right
God.
now. Like, he's just constantly engaged in the raid.
Every time
It's
he
still
like
happening.
warms up a pot of like reminiscent of the oil or a volcano, here's battle theme music because Kaido's just stirring in the volcano underneath Wano.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'd love
It's
that.
great. Kaido, man,
Woo.
where are you? Please commentate.
Yeah.
So two more things, or I guess three things we need to touch on now. We still have a minute to go. Holy crap. Let's see here. Let's talk about where Luffy could have gone. Do you think it's still the food thing? Like, he's still eating? Do you think that's what's going on here? Or do you think there's like something else that drew his attention? Or do you think he was kidnapped? I think the kidnapped option is a possibility, but it's hard to imagine anybody kidnapping Luffy out of all people.
Yeah, him being quiet. So like because whenever he eats, he's loud. Whenever he screams meat, he's loud. Like it almost seems like whoever fed him was like, oh man, I shouldn't have left the food and him in the same place. Because you got to imagine if you were stealthy enough to bring the food there, like you could have probably brought Luffy out. You brought that much food, you could have probably got Luffy out, right? And so like we
Yeah.
also have to take into consideration this is a character who wasn't being held down by Saturn. Like so it feels like it has to be someone outside of it. I still like my idea too. It was like lower down on the rung that
Smoker?
like the satellites were involved because yeah, Atlas was being held down, but like we have the nuance of like they're connected by like a comms thing and they're able to hear each other when they split up earlier searching for the Stella, they were hearing it. So like if there's a satellite upstairs and they're like, yo, Luffy needs me and they're free, they could do it. And they have holograms. They have all of Vegapunk's tech up there. The Straw Hats could have come up with a plan. Like, I don't know, but there's a lot of ways it could go down that way. But then it gets a little bit complicated now because he disappeared. So like Caribou's fruit is really good for that. But there's also holograms. If it's disappearing right in front of their eyes, holograms is a good way to do it. Put up they didn't isn't the whole thing with the legendary Iron Giant that like that part of it is like there's a holographic wall there that's making it so that they don't see that the legendary like
Mm.
they went to like a forest area and they're like how's there a forest in the middle of the city or whatever, and then it does like a graphic thing that's blocking this from like the viewpoint, right? Because I would imagine if Saturn was on the island, as big as he is, he'd probably be able to see the legendary Iron Giant at this point, right? If it's like mobilized or moving.
Maybe it's
Um,
walking as slow as Kuma threw the punch.
yeah, sure, it could be that case, but I'm like, I think it's chapter 1063 probably that I could verify this real quickly, but I'm pretty sure there's a holographic wall. And like that could come into play as to hiding Luffy. Maybe he is eating. Maybe he's still right there. They just don't see him. But like then it's like the sound. Like doesn't Luffy isn't Luffy loud, but like he could be quietly eating, right? But I would imagine he would be reacting, seeing Kuma sucker punch Luffy through the thing. I don't know. I
Even
feel
seeing
like it's
Kizaru hit
Saturn.
Frankie, like I was like, dude, if Luffy was here, even though Frankie kind of a tank, like I'm sure Frankie's gonna get back up after being hit, but it's like I feel like Luffy would have said, Frankie, get out of the way or try to help Frankie. Like I feel like he wouldn't let Kizaru just hit Frankie like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he's having flashbacks of Sabaody throughout all this, right? He's just like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lose my crew again. And maybe he believes in Frankie
Oh
so
yeah,
much like a
yeah.
lot of the community was surprised by Frankie showing, which, I'm not gonna say I was surprised, but I am impressed. I am impressed that like Frankie is like constantly like he literally put hands on not put hands but shown a
Shot
light,
Saturn.
a different kind of light on a Gorosei. Not many people have seen the Gorosei in the light of day that Frankie has, right? He's seen inside him, through him. His light went in right past him, right? You know what I mean? So it's really interesting
It
what
kind
we're getting
of
with.
tosses me back to Eni's lobby because I just recently rewatched it again, and
Mhm.
there was a scene where Luffy's fighting Rob Bellucci, and Rob Bellucci is about to hammer down Frankie, about to hit him, and then Luffy grabs onto Rob Bellucci and he's like, "I'm your opponent." And it's like he didn't do it
Mm,
here, which I mean, of course he wouldn't. Like the dynamics are different. It's Kizaru, it's Frankie. They're a Yonko crew. They're a lot stronger. Frankie can tank it.
mhm.
But it's like I really do feel like if Luffy were nearby, he probably would have done something here. So the fact that he
Yeah.
didn't, it's like okay, where could Luffy be? So are you still with the food, or do you think he like left to do something? Like where are you with that?
Um.
Because I asked you this question and I realized we kind of like went into a loop. We didn't
Yeah.
exactly answer it. What do you think?
Well, I think the context that we added makes me feel like he isn't here, like you said, like, or he's. If Caribou's the answer, he answers everything because then Caribou could swallow up Luffy, right?
Yeah,
So like it could very Caribou could be the sinkhole literally and narratively for all of the problems, that could be answered, but if Luffy had an agenda, I don't know where like he would leave other than the action in the center. When has Luffy ever like left to go do something else when the
yeah.
action's right in front of him? right? Even on Onigashima, like that's the prime time to like, hey, let me think about it, right? His thought was like, yo, Momo, you're big now.
Rooftop.
Let's go. And Momo was like, what? What do you mean? Huh?
Yeah, from the get, Luffy was like, I'm gonna fight Kaido, I'm going to the top. And you know, you could say that Luffy's objective here is to escape, so he would want to go up to the Labo phase, but at the same time, it's like his
Stella's
friends are
here.
fighting. Yeah, Stella's here still. You know, like there's just so many factors now that Luffy has to get out before they can leave, to where he probably want to stall the big bad guys, being Saturn and Kizaru. So it's like, where's Luffy? Like, what could be more important than this?
Yeah,
I've
like,
seen a lot of people say that it could be the ancient robot, and I like that idea.
yeah,
Like maybe
hey, that would be interesting.
he comes back.
Like
with
I
it.
was almost gonna say,
I don't
like
know.
this could be a super disrespectful moment for Luffy, where it's like, not for Luffy, like Luffy disrespecting someone else, where it's like, not to
Oh,
bring the Kizaru coat back, but it's like if this weren't really Kizaru here and it's a clone. Oh wait, did it freeze? It might have froze. You could
no,
probably
did it?
no, it's good. Yeah,
We're
it
good. We're
froze on
good.
my end, but we're good. Um, the Kizaru, if like it's a clone situation, which we've seen, right? If like Luffy, what I said, Luffy always gravitates towards the main action, right? If he could gravitate towards Kizaru, and that would mean that Saturn isn't a big deal. You know what I mean? He's looking at
That'd be
Saturn.
crazy.
Yeah, like if he runs back, right? Like it's not like Luffy flew back to Onigashima, his entire crew's dealing with all this shit, right? And what does he do? He beelines towards the rooftop. He says, "This is where I need to be. You're the only main problem because if I don't stop you, then stop everybody else. My crew can deal with other things, and maybe they have to die a few times to do it. Maybe they have to deal with drug dealers along the way. Maybe Sanji has to break all of his bones and miraculously heal all of them. But they got it. I believe in them, right? I'm gonna deal with the eel on the rooftop." And I could see Luffy doing much of the same thing. It makes less sense that he would run towards Saturn and then he's not here. If he's fine, he should be running at Saturn. But if Kizaru weren't here and Luffy recognizes that and he was running towards Kizaru to deal with Kizaru, hey, maybe that could be the thing. Because the other part of it too, if Luffy's out of commission from like Kizaru's standpoint, let's say Kizaru and Luffy are both out of commission. Kizaru gets back up, he sees Luffy still out of commission, and he's like technically gone. Let's say that, right? And Saturn is here, and I trust in my boss. Saturn's capable, right?
Do you
There's
think
a
Kizaru
lot,
would look for Luffy?
not look for Luffy, but all of the objectives are upstairs. If Saturn's down here holding it down, and I'm an efficient corporate slave, right? And I came onto Zion for three things, and none of them. Well, Stella, like technically that's a pseudo objective, but they said Punk Records, they said the Mother Flame, the that thing, and York. None of those things are here. So technically, everything that Kizaru needs is up there. And so if Saturn's here and Saturn can hold it down, then it would make sense for Kizaru to leave. And if that's the way it goes down, that makes a lot of sense to me. That does actually make a lot of sense that this is a Kizaru that's like showing face or whatever. I don't know how it would go down per se, but like in the grand scheme of like when Kizaru was planning beforehand before
Yeah.
coming to the island, he was like, yo, super efficient about his decision making. 3 objectives, that's what I need. That's what I'm gonna come out. And Luffy came out front and he had to fight Luffy,
Damn.
right? But
So
like,
you're saying Kizaru's not going to get a raise from this work right here? He's getting a little bit sloppy,
I
not
don't know,
efficient.
like
He's not min maxing.
but then we go back to the portrayal here of Saturn. Like if Saturn can really hold it down, he just got knocked knocked out to a certain extent by Kuma. Kuma's here. He got parried by Sanji and Swiss cheese by Frankie. He's standing behind Kizaru. It seems like he needs Kizaru. So like that's why all of this, like what happens next is so weird. We don't know how strong Saturn is. To the point is half the community thinks he's a fraud, half the other community thinks he's gonna die.
He's not a fraud. He's just a different fighter. That's kind of where I'm at. Like
He's Zerath. He's Vel'Koz. He's a
yeah,
mage.
he's just a different fighter. You know, like Saturn
Would you
is a thinking man's villain.
would you like it if he
What's up?
lifted up his cane and it's kind of like Brook, where Brook opens up his cane and it's a sword, but instead Saturn goes like, and it's like a bunny magic trick, like a magician pulling out a hat, but it turns into like a magic wand from Harry Potter.
Uh, I
Or it's just
mean,
a cane and is his magic wand. He starts doing like
yeah,
magic circles with the cane.
yeah. It's either he is like Genri Ryusai from Bleach, where he taps the cane down and then it turns into a full ass blade, or that cane is actually just a magic staff. I don't think it has to turn into a wand. Like when I think of a mage, I'm like, oh yeah, they just have a wooden stick and that's it.
But you're there though, right? Like I feel like at this point in the story, I'm
Well, like
I don't
Saturn
like
having
it.
magic.
He's like, no, not having magic. Like that. That's base. I'm saying portrayal wise. You play League. This some people don't know this, but like if you play games, you know like a
Different
mage
classes.
character. Yeah, a mage character is like where it's you need a front line, you need cast time.
Yeah.
You need, or you're a healer, that kind of thing. Like,
He's not exactly a brawler like Kaido or Big Mom per se. Like I feel like that's very obvious by this point. He's not like Kaido at all. He's just a different fighter altogether. Like Kaido took hits because he wanted the thrill of the fight. He wanted to see what people could do. It looks like Saturn is just like he doesn't care if he takes hits, like flat out. Like he's just like, oh whatever, I'll just regen.
I have a question for context.
What's up?
Kuma hit him. He lost an arm, lost a horn, bloodied up, gets back, regenerates afterwards. After walking the distance, he regenerates, right? Do you think that like the end, like the final attack that Kaido threw out at Luffy, or Shanks's final attack, one attack?
Oh, I've seen this debate too.
Saturn gets killed from that, or does he regenerate from it?
I think he regenerates. So the way I see Saturn right now, he to me at least, he's kind of an anomaly because Kuma hit him with Haki. Like if this was like a devil fruit thing, I don't think he should be able to regenerate. I could be wrong, but like, in my head canon, I don't think he'd be able to regenerate from that if that's a devil fruit power. At least not like easily. But he just kind of came back. Like the blood is gone, the face is okay, horns back, arms back. I feel like
the thing, Sai, just to counter that real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
He didn't lose his arm and horn to Haki.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, he lost his buildings.
I'm gonna ignore that one. So everything you just said, in one ear, out the other. But here's the thing. The main reason I dismissed that is because that's why I mentioned the blood in the face, because that's where it hit, and his face is fine by the end of the chapter. So that's why I dismissed it. Not because I don't care what you say. No. But as far as Saturn, I feel like Shanks wouldn't have been able to one tap him Kaido either, because however Saturn is defeated, I feel like is outside of what we've seen. I feel like he's a gimmick fight. It's like a Dark Souls boss where you're hitting the enemy, you're doing 0 damage, and then you find out you need to hit a lantern, and then all of a sudden the boss dies. Like it's gonna be something kind of off with Saturn. I don't think it's gonna be a straightforward. Oh, we just have to hit him with crazy physical abilities. Shanks hits him with the Divine Departure. Saturn has like no limbs, and then he grows him back. Kaido and Big Mom, Hakuoku Sovereignty. Saturn, hole through his chest. It comes right back. I feel like Saturn needs something different, whether it be ocean water. Maybe Jinbei comes here and drowns this man. Maybe we talked about this on your live stream, but maybe it's an astral projection. The real Saturn is on the ship still. That could be a thing. Maybe we have to damage the real body. Maybe even this is like I'm trying to think of what anime did this. The last one I could remember is One Punch Man, which I guess is a good example, but I wanted something a little bit more popular, where there was an enemy that infinitely regenerated, but they have a core, so you have to break the core to kill them. So maybe there's a core in Saturn's body, and that's what you have to cut apart. Maybe it's something like that. But as it stands right now, I don't think any of the high tier attacks can destroy him. Yeah, like Pika. Pika was a little bit easier because you could kind of like see where he was at. It was like obvious that you weren't hurting him. But yeah, like maybe like Pika, where there's a mini Saturn like crawling around in his shoulder, and that's what you have to hit. Or Demon Slayer season 3, there's like 5 villains, but one of them is the main body. It's gonna be something like that.
I liked what you brought up because that it's the same aspect. I brought up Destiny, like the rating.
Which raid? Wait, Destiny 1 or 2?
I played Destiny 1. I was one of the original raiders.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Brother in arms.
And, like in those raid boss games, there's the main boss that reasonably you can't beat. Like if that boss could fight normally, in all regards, you lose in 99 lifetimes. Like you'll never win. But the way you win is that there's like you constantly learn about like, okay, if you hit him in the knee, he bends down and then his butt is exposed. And you got to hit him in the butt because that's his weak point. And it's like some weird rules like that, and it ends up being fun sometimes for the raids, like, you know, like you said, like you can't defeat the boss because they'll regen, but you got to hit that lantern. And I can see that really well happening for One Piece, especially for these characters, like a Horcrux type of thing for like from Harry Potter, where it's like there's special items that like his cane, maybe his cane, but he hasn't. It doesn't. I doubt he brought anything like that gives him that kind of confidence, where he could just come back. So that makes it weirder. But where I am connecting the line is, it's like this wouldn't be the first time. Like, this is actually old school anime. OG anime did this a lot, where it's like a character would fight and it's a weaker character and it's an underdog story, as opposed to like there was, I don't know if we're still in the trend, but like the overpowered isekai characters, the overpowered characters in general, who have like their issues that they're overpowered, instead of like the flip side back in the day where it's like it was supremely underpowered character ends up beating like an end stage thing from some goofy, like, oh, like he slipped on a banana and then he landed on a spike, and it's like, ha, that was like,
ooh, what if Saturn is allergic to mud and
like,
Caribou's like his natural enemy?
No, I'm not even memeing, because like think about Crocodile.
It sounds like I'm memeing too, but I'm not, because I thought
like,
about Mr. 3 and the Wax and Magellan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like those are the characters that it's like reasonably Magellan beats everything, right? And to this day, people have him in the top 30 because of that. And it's like he doesn't even need hockey for people to. Oh shit, my bad.
What's up?
No, my alarm went off. The what's it called? But like something like that, where it's like, yes, he's an end stage character. Imagine how terrifying Crocodile was, the first warlord where he fought. He's subjugating an entire island that's made out of him. He is the island, it's so to say, right? And how does Luffy beat him? Spit,
you get him wet.
water. You get him wet, blood,
Yeah.
right? And now this terrifying existence became like a meme to this day, where people think that when he's reintroduced into the story, he's not going to be that scary because of that. And it's like, no, that's not the. Yes, like water, sad. That's a tragic weakness. I feel like that's the Gorosei thing. Like, it's like the fact that they've been holed up for 800 years, they haven't enforced themselves. Maybe they have a very easily exploitable weakness, and they've been holding up because of that. Like, the moment that gets showed up, then it'll be easier to take asthma. Down. Sure, give them all tragic illnesses. You know what I mean? That like is like illnesses that you can laugh about a little bit, like asthma and
you. I can't say the C one, but you could say it. You could say it on him.
Well, wait, hold on. We gave Roger that one. That wasn't a meme. We didn't want meme around when we gave Roger cancer. like the Gores. That's another thing. Like apparently the Ushi has the ability to give people like long-term illnesses, and some people have the theory that he was the one who gave Roger the illness that took him. And so like he's been sitting in his island just wondering like, one of these days Roger's gonna go out, and it's like, no, brother, like
it's just like the dragon thing, like days later it's like, oh, he's already dead, huh? You know, like Saturn's plotting, man. He's in it for the long con.
When Roger found Laugh-Tale, he was probably like, I gave him the poison 30 years ago. What do you mean? Like,
yeah, I thought I killed him already. I pressed the button on the illness.
Oh my goodness. But like, you know, going back to the whole Saturn thing, it's such a weird spot with what we get now. And you know what? I'm gonna say something crazy, Sai.
Say it.
I think next chapter might change my perspective with new information that we might get about what.
You're gonna change your opinion based on current events? In the One Piece community part? No way. What the hell?
Oh
what?
Oda couldn't possibly give us new information that would change my mind.
You're
right,
static? You're not static? What's going on here?
Like we couldn't possibly learn about information that we've never received before about like magic circles, the Force, a giant spider, mythical Zoan, the Gorosei,
actually
regeneration. Like
Par, you're blinded by agenda.
Like Oda couldn't possibly
It's
have new information about any of that. We learned all about that in the Viva cards. Didn't
you
you read the
know,
Viva cards?
you're
The
blaming
first
Oda for your
data book?
narrow-sightedness.
Sai, I can't believe you didn't read the first data book.
Narrow-mindedness.
Come on.
Neuroscience.
He said that Shanks
It
could have
works.
had a hockey arm. No. I'm
Hockey
just
arm,
leaving.
imaginary arm.
People quote the most random things, and it was like, well, this was said. I was like,
Oh, I never mentioned why, like my good idea as to how Saturn's been regenerating.
oh yeah, hit us with it, hit us with it.
And this does tie back to SBS lore.
Okay,
I
okay.
think.
Well, this is different than first data book.
Oh, no. Hey. I think what Saturn did. Okay, so the buildings fell on him, right? And what's notable about these buildings is that if you look at them, one of the buildings actually looks like a milk factory. So I think a bunch of milk splashed on him, and just like how Luffy regains his teeth by drinking milk, I think Saturn regained his body parts by drinking milk.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he's so lactose intolerant that when he hit the building, it broke his horn.
No, I'm just memeing now.
Wait, no, what the flip side is what kills you also makes you strong. Or what doesn't kill
There we
you
go.
also-
No, it's I saw somebody make a joke and I thought it was hilarious. I didn't do it
Wait,
justice.
someone
but
typed that the building, one of the buildings.
no,
looks like a
not
milk-
that. But they said they said, Sai, don't you remember that Luffy can regenerate his teeth?
Uh-huh.
And they didn't add the
like
milk
this.
part in, but it is because of the milk. Like Brook gets his teeth back, Luffy gets his teeth back by milk, and that's kind of like a gag more than anything. But I
Yes.
love how they try to tie that in with Saturn regenerating body parts. And now I'm just imagining if Shanks drank milk, like he would just get his arm back or something.
Apparently
Shanks and
so.
Kid, just everybody, like all the top verses. Like, please, Whitebeard. I feel like we could have cured his illness if we just gave him some milk. Really.
Yeah, why not?
Do you drink milk?
Yeah.
I feel like I've asked you that before. Yeah.
Yeah, milk's fine. I'm a
Yeah.
cheese, dairy, yogurt. I like that. I like it all.
Yeah, dude. Milk is great. I drink like a glass every other night.
That's solid. That's
Yeah.
you got strong bones.
Yeah, I'm lactose, so it's kind of rough sometimes, but I'm trying to train my
You're
body to
literally
not be
Magellan.
lactose.
You're literally Magellan.
Yeah,
But
I
wait,
am
what
Magellan.
was before we forget again, what was the actual idea?
Oh
about
no, that was the
regeneration?
actual idea.
No, you said you were memeing.
Oh yeah, and the idea was a meme. I'm sorry. Yeah, I kind of wasted our time with that one. Last things last, Bar, the Buster call. Last thing we gotta talk about. Are
Can
you
we go
scared
back
of this
to
one,
the
Bar?
People are mad at me.
Wait, why?
You know what? Just like how we were saying, like I don't know why people weren't on my ass for bringing up Smoker instead of Kizaru. Like I felt that way in the reaction because I was saying like
I feel like you had another really bad option too. Oh, you talked about the Seraphim.
the Seraphim are not bad options. Wait, why are the Seraphim bad options?
Par said Smoker, the Seraphims. We
Yeah,
talked
because the
about
thing
Boa
is-
Hancock, and then
No,
people are
you
making fun of us
brought
for the
up Boa.
Kizaru option. Oh,
You-
dude, Par is hilarious.
You brought up Boa.
Par is a little
okay.
bit of a silly
That was
Billy,
the
yeah?
worst one. Boa
All right,
was the
so
worst one. That was
what were
you.
people talking about with the Buster call?
Oh, I
Before
was
you
just
dig
saying,
yourself
like,
deeper.
I was just saying that the Buster call is meaningless.
It's just a timer, dude. Oda loves timers, man.
That's what I said, and people
yeah.
like no. Buster calls are actually really bad. I was like, what do you?
So
Huh?
Buster calls are okay. No, I agree. When I made my
It's a
video, I
timer.
said
I agree
I
it's a
pointed
timer.
at this and I laughed. I thought this was the most
Yeah.
laughable part of the chapter. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: it's laughable because we know that none of the Straw Hats are going to die to the Buster call. The Thousand Sunny might even survive it. You know, I said the Thousand Sunny will get blown away if Kizaru or Saturn attacks it, but cannonballs, no.
Absolutely not. It
absolutely
survived
not.
point blank explosions on Wano. Like,
Yeah. People put cannonballs on the Sunny. It survived. But as far as a high tier attack, Big Mom can destroy it easily. She literally did. The Thousand Sunny can get damaged.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like we fought on that hill many times. The Thousand Sunny is strong.
Not we.
It's not invincible.
You fought commenters.
I fought commenters. People have. Oh man, people are like the Thousand Sunny is. It's invincible. It's as strong as a poneglyph. Like, okay, get out of here.
You dipped your toes in the theory community for a little bit, and you were like,
I hate it.
This is
I hate it here. I hate it. So The
You
thing
see
with
why
the
the
Buster Call
videos
is
have to be so long though?
I'm
Because
not afraid.
you had to explain in that video Adam would, right? So in a video where you have to go out of your way to explain that because a large, not a large, but a minority group says that. That's why some theory videos have to be long, because people are like, well, actually, Adam Wood is indestructible, don't you know? It's like, wait, what? What are you talking about?
And then we literally leave Wano and Frankie's making repairs. It's like, oh man, she did okay with this one. We have some cuts and bruises though. You know,
Don't
we
forget.
leave what we got to Wano and Frankie's like, I need to repair the Sunny. I need to get her in shape.
No, so it regenerated.
Oh,
Actually,
you're
just
right.
like
You're right.
Saturn.
Yeah, Adam Wood, it regenerates. It's invincible. Yeah, it's indestructible. Yeah.
Saturn is made out of Adam Wood.
Heard. But like I said, the Buster Call, I'm not afraid for the Straw Hat's well-being. I'm not like looking at this. I'm like, oh no, Luffy's gonna die. You know, I'm not like, oh, you know, the Thousand Sunny's gonna get torn apart by this one. It's more so that the Buster Call is scary because we won't have an island to stand on. We won't have a battlefield anymore to stand our ground.
And
like,
here's
oh yeah, go for it.
Here's why, because I recognize that. I was like, sure, we can give everybody the like yes, the books on O'Hara survived with water like being on top of it. So like, you know, Saul survived while being an ice statue and a sitting target on the coastline, by the way, and he survived. So, but he was bandaged up. Fine. The island is less durable than the giant who's frozen in a statue. Cool. Island gets destroyed. The issue is at the moment, there's a sky island on top that they cannot reach. There's no world where their Buster Call reaches that, in my mind. They're looking at it from below, and like Kaku and like them, they like had to fly up there. They're cannonballs. If it reaches Punk Records, like I don't know. I feel like a lot of the weight fell off when I looked at the panel and I recognized like, one, sure, we can meme about the laser defense dome all we want, but the minimum it can defend against is cannonballs. Please, for the love of God, it can defend against cannonballs. Please.
I thought about bringing up the notion that it's a sky island and they can't knock it down, because I agree with that. That's like the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh no, wait. Everybody's up there, like, you know, except for Luffy and Sanji and Frankie, who can go up there, and Atlas and Kuma and Bonnie, who are going up there. It's like we can get up there kind of fast. But it's I kind of came to the theory that maybe if the bottom island is knocked out, that the top island will also get knocked off, like a Jack and the Beanstalk kind of thing. Like, you know, cut down the root, the tree falls down. That's kind of how I viewed it. We have nothing to corroborate that, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now.
If Oda adds that, sure, but like the way I see it is clouds are clouds. Like we literally have an island.
Yeah,
Kaido jumped off of. But
it's like man-made clouds. Like what if it's floating up there? Oh no, it's they mentioned pyrobloin.
They're out here teching things. It's like, yes, even if they made it, even if they let's say they made it from
like a
ground,
gravity system that connects it to this island. You know, I'm just making up things to make the Buster Call seem better. Like, you know, I'm trying to help out the Buster Call here, okay? I'm trying to toss him a bone. But, dude, I have no clue. Like, this Buster Call doesn't seem like that big of a threat. Like, I feel like we could get out of here in time. I guess the main worries with the Buster Call are the CP0 agents that we kind of became friends with. You know, or not CP0, but like the...
Oh, yeah.
Like CP3, 6, like let's say the island... Let's say the Sky Island wasn't here. Even if we were all on one island, it's like, yeah, like maybe we want to get them out because we're okay with them now. Seraphim, Satellite, like sure, like maybe we have a lot of people we need to pack onto the Sunny before we can leave. But even then, I don't feel super threatened by the Buster Call. And if anything, I feel worse for the Marines who are here, like the Vice Admirals. They're gonna get caught in the crossfire. Kizaru Logia, so he should be fine. Saturn's an interesting one, which is why I like the idea that maybe Saturn's still on the ship. And you know, like this is just like a different part of him that's here.
Here's the other part, Sai.
I don't know.
Intuitively, this Sky Island has to be fine because the Marines need to protect it. They want Punk Records. They want York. They want all the things that are up there.
Yeah.
It would make no sense for them to even target Punk Records because their 3 missions are all there.
Why? Wait.
So
Car.
Yeah, what?
Why even have the Buster Call then? Just for Vegapunk?
I don't
Luffy?
know. Saturn called it on himself, and I'm like, I don't get, like, they're like the Buster Call protocol has been authorized by who?
It's not like a Kainu where, like, you know, the casualties out, like, you know, the rewards outweigh the casualties. No, no, no. Like, Kizaru's here, the Vice out. You're here. Like, all for what? Killing Vegapunk, which is in front of you? Like, it's not gonna kill Luffy. Like, no way they think this is gonna kill Luffy, right?
I'm fairly confident that one Kizaru is more destructive than all of these ships.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like none of this made sense, and yeah, I got pushback. And one of the things is like, yeah, but Punk Records isn't safe. I was like, it doesn't matter if it's safe or not. It should be safe because they shouldn't be aiming at it. Like the thing about this panel is like immediately all tension is reduced once you like look at it. They go, the Buster Call protocol has been authorized, and yeah, maybe I'm a new reader. Maybe my brain is broken. I forgot all. I need a reader.
Is that your new insult term?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say it. Like I need a Ohara refresher, right? Like where Oda runs through the Ohara thing because we forgot about Ohara because you just somehow made it this far in One Piece and you forgot Ohara. Oh my god, I don't know how that happened. Maybe refresher of the Bellamy punch, sure. Forgetting Ohara is wild to me, right? And maybe I need a Buster Call refresher. And in that refresher, we'll find out that nothing bad has ever happened to anything that besides like, you know, like you have Robin and the random people on there. But like Saul's alive now. All the books.
You know what I thought of too?
Like,
I remember when we when the Saul thing happened, and we learned that the book survived and Saul survived. I was like, man, if I was a researcher, after I threw some books and I would hop in the river. I don't know. You ever think about that? Like, why didn't they jump in with the books?
Yeah, no,
and it's not like they came back to check for survivors because Saul just walked out of there.
He's
Saul
a giant.
walked out of there. The Revs were out of there. Like,
no,
I don't know,
like,
man.
You have to realize how ridiculous
jumped in that water.
And this isn't me like protecting Oda. No, Oda needs to address this. Like, Saul was frozen on the coastline.
You could have seen him.
Yeah,
you could have seen him like walk around afterwards.
It's like if you have a car and you got your car washed, right? And like you go back home and you're like, oh man, they missed a spot in the windshield, right? There's a giant stain on the front of your hood, like, and you left. That's on you at that point. Like, and you need to go take care of it, and you can yell at them, sure, but like, but that's on you for leaving and not realizing that you did not get your car clean. Their one objective is what? To destroy the entire island, reduce everything to ashes in the name of justice, man. Justice is hella weak. If on the coast,
let me tell you, man, they wouldn't survive Call of Duty. Like, you know, you're playing kill confirmed. You kill somebody, a dog tag pops out, and you need to pick it up to confirm that kill. They put Saul down, but they never picked up the tags. You know what I mean? Like, they never confirmed that kill, and it's so easy. Like, it's not even hard because you just have to stay there for like 24 hours.
I thought you were gonna bring up OG Call of Duty, like they wasted their kill streak. Because my God, if you got one of the like OG,
they got 25 kills, they got a nuke. And then people like, survive it. It's like, damn, dude, I don't know. I guess it is like a Call of Duty nuke because like everybody dies and then they respawn. That's just Saul. It's just Saul, dude.
Oh man, Saul has the regeneration.
And then we didn't even talk about Polly, bro. Polly's rope can withstand a Buster Call. Now that's a funny one too.
Polly's rope can carry 2 giants.
2 giants and two Sea Kings, right? Or not Sea Kings. They were Sea Beasts or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sador and Gamora or something.
Yeah. Sodom. Yeah. Like, I
don't know, man. Like Buster Calls. If a lot more people have died to Buster Calls, I would be more scared of it. Like if more named important characters died to Buster Calls, I'd be like, yo, that's crazy. Like if Polly and the Giants, Oimo Okashi and Gali, if they didn't survive the Buster Call, I'd be like, oh shit, like we might be losing the satellites. Vegapunk might die. But now it's just like, I don't know, man. Like we're getting out of here somehow. I have faith.
I know, like, and my other version is if we had more Buster Calls rather than just like more effect to them. If we had other Buster Calls where it's like, yeah, sure, the Straw Hats have overcome, like, have shown, the futility in Buster Call. I'm not even talking about just like every movie. Film Z, those are all Buster Calls
Oh,
too.
I forgot. Yeah, we had what was it? Wasn't Film Z, was it? It was
It was
Stampede.
Film Z, Film Gold, Film Stampede. They all, I'm pretty sure they're all Buster Calls.
No, were they all really?
I'm pretty, at least Film Z is the one I'm a little hazy on. But that one was because the Celestial Dragons wanted the thing, and that's the nuance here. It's the Buster Calls are called whenever a Celestial Dragon is attacked. So Gorosei got attacked, Buster Call. That's the protocol, right? But then the one on Eni's lobby, it was because Spandam hit the button. So we know it's not that deep. Like if you have that thing, you can just hit it. Why can't a Celestial Dragon just call a Buster Call? They don't need to be hit.
So
you could
it
have had.
It wasn't Film Z.
It was Stampede.
It was Stampede, and it was... Oh, that's also Stampede. Wait, what? Delta Island.
Delta Island is... Z?
That's Stampede, right?
I know it's not gold.
Yeah, it's Stampede.
Stampede.
Oh, Stampede, there were 2 Buster Calls. I'm sorry. Because they... wait, I forgot. Stampede. Dude, Stampede had a Buster Call in the flashback to kill Douglas Bullet. But they didn't kill Douglas Bullet, so Douglas Bullet went to Impel Down instead. So even a Buster Call on one guy couldn't kill him. Oh, that's so funny. Wait,
and Oda wrote that. Oda's the executive director of this.
Douglas Bullet, and you're telling me it did not kill Douglas Bullet? Huge.
Oda
and then
doesn't
Delta
care about
Island,
Buster Calls.
which again was Douglas Bullet.
Oda literally uses it as a timer, but not even like a meaningful timer because it's the Marines timer. It's like, oh, the Marines are showing up.
Funny.
What can we do to give them some gravity?
2 Buster Calls.
Oda literally fodderficationed the Buster Call.
Oh, dude.
He did that on his own.
Here's a good one. So there was also another Buster Call, non-canon, in the One Piece Odyssey game. I forgot about this. It was so bad.
No.
At the very end, the 5 elders were like, we have to do a Buster Call on Wofford, which is like an ancient island from like the Void Century or something. They're like, we got to destroy the island. It has too many books. it has information there we can't let get out. It has the dragon's breath, which is like the main villain. But yeah, even though
Film Red, did Film Red have a Buster Call?
No Buster Call, no Buster Call on Elysia. But yeah, the One Piece video game, written by Oda as well, they boasted that one pretty heavy. It said original story and whatever it's called by Oda. It's all Oda. And let me tell you, they did a Buster Call and every character survived. Nobody died. Sorry to spoil the video game, but let's be real. If you're playing Odyssey, you're not playing it for the story. You're playing because you want to play Luffy.
Especially in 2024.
Yeah, there's no reason to play One Piece Odyssey. I'll tell you right now. But yeah, everybody survives the Buster Call in the game as well.
But if you want to sponsor us, we'll definitely play it.
I don't
hasn't
think
played it. He's making
I could. Like I played One Piece Odyssey on stream and I laughed at it like 95% of the time. Everything was so laughable in that game.
You think they'd laser you down for being critical?
I think they would. Sure. I feel like especially like Japanese companies, they want people to be like very enthusiastic. And here's the thing, like the audience who consumes the One Piece video games, they're not like me. A lot of people love to just have fun and just enjoy a little experience. But for me, like as an avid gamer, let me tell, as somebody who plays games every single day, I play every kind of genre. I am very critical. I played a lot of RPGs, Japanese RPGs, and One Piece Odyssey. Story-wise and gameplay-wise, it was outdated. Graphics were cool, though. I'll admit that. Graphics were nice. Art style is good.
I like the graphics.
But story was awful. I'm so sorry, Oda. Like, I wish they didn't put Oda's name in there, because it did kind of like... Not tarnish it a little bit, but it's like, man, maybe, I was kind of coping. I was like, maybe Oda didn't write this all the way. Maybe Oda just gave them bullet points. But even the bullet points were not amazing. Like base level, the story just wasn't there for me.
I think at the end of the day,
Odyssey rant.
Points. If anyone has seen the notes Oda gave to for Film Red, in my opinion, those notes are better than the movie. Like there's a page in there that fixed the issue that I thought of the movie. It's not that deep. Like I liked Film Red. Is it one of my top movies of all time? No. But do I like it? Yeah. Am I watching it 10 times like King of Lightning? No. It's
Did you
my
watch it
man.
10 times?
Yeah, and he tried to pull this over in a debate we are having. He was saying that there was Norse runes being deciphered on. I was like, my
That's
man,
huge.
everybody in
Wait,
this,
really?
no,
Yeah,
everybody else
Norse
in the call,
runes on Elysia.
everybody
That
else
makes
in the-
sense because of Shanks. Yeah, no, King of Lightning's on something.
Alicia's not his island. Shanks abandoned his child to
No,
this
dude,
island.
well,
No, so he pulled it. He said Norse runes.
how many times
Everybody
have
else on the
you
call just
watched Film
accepted
Red
it.
Par? Was it
Everybody
10?
else just accepted it, and I was like, Cole, you did not just make up Norse runes on Film Red.
I don't know,
Just because you
man.
watched it 10 times doesn't mean you can just make things up. And he just started laughing because like everyone else was like, yeah, wait, what? Those are Norse runes. Like my dude just
I don't
kind of
know.
pulled a hot
If I had
air.
if I had to pick someone to trust between you and Cole, where Cole's watched the movie 10 times, I'm sorry,
Listen,
Par.
no point in Oda's
And
notes where
I
like,
mean, and you have to
the
remember that
runes
Cole is Norse.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot.
Cole is Nordic.
The King of Lightning. He's famously known King
Yeah,
of
King
Thor
of
Lightning.
Lightning.
Like he's
Yeah, in Norse mythology, people refer to him as the god of lightning.
yeah.
That's
Oh
huge.
my God.
That's hilarious,
Oh my
man. What are we talking about? Buster calls, man? Like,
Yeah, I mean, so like with
you
the Oda
scared?
stuff, like writing
Yeah.
the thing, it's like for people who are for some reason defending Buster calls against slander. It's like there's no I promise you, Buster calls won't be hurt if we slander them. It's not Kid, it's not Dragon, it's not Garp, it's not no. It's fine to slander Buster calls. There's
I need to look to see if somebody's defending it. Actually, I'm actually so curious. I'm gonna look it up.
Like in my live chat, that 100%. I haven't checked the stream, the comments, but in the live chat, I remember I was like, wait, what? Why are people coming at me for the Buster Call slander? This is so real. And then that's when I brought up like Oda doesn't like Buster Calls. Every movie that he's been a part of, he brought out Buster Calls, or not every movie, but like now we know it's like he brought out 2 in one movie, and in neither point were they actually meaningful. But the point being is that I would have liked it if in the story, to give Buster Call's gravity is like, yeah, maybe there was another island that got destroyed by a Buster Call. It doesn't need to be that deep. We know that Celestial Dragons are out there traveling. So it's like, not that a Celestial Dragon needs to be hit, but they could just call a Buster Call. They could be like, yo, I didn't like this island. They didn't have hot dogs or something. And then they put a Buster Call simply. That would be terrifying, right? If you get the news line like Celestial Dragon destroys island because they weren't properly accommodated with food. And then like that's terrifying, that's scary, and the island's destroyed now. Boom. Buster calls are somewhat scary.
So it looks like everybody's kind of laughing at the Buster call. Like I found one person kind of defending it, but like 99% of people are just kind of making fun of the Buster call. Like it's
that's
Luffy.
What I'm surprised.
And they're like, oh, Robin survived like 2 Buster calls. It's going to be her 3rd. The one, which I agree with this one actually, but I still think it's kind of a meme. Is the notion that there are more vice admirals and there's more ships here, and that is true, but at the end of the day it's just cannonballs. Like I would argue that sending the 9 VAs is more terrifying than 100 cannon. I mean, I guess obviously more than 100 cannonballs, but I don't know. I just feel like everybody who's on this island right now, between Kizaru, Saturn, and the 9 VAs, they are more of a threat than the Buster calls, and they have the pacifistas on their side. Like until Kuma like changes something, like the pacifistas are working with the Marines.
Yes, which is why the Buster Call also doesn't make sense, because they have the pacifistas too, so it's like weird. But they're also like sort of fighting it, but then Saturn and Kizaru are there now, and now that Saturn's here, there shouldn't be any fight over who has the superiority. The moment the Seraphims come down, they're on his side. That's how it should be, unless Vegapunk did a funny business. But here's the question: this Buster Call, which one are you choosing? This Buster Call or Garp at the end of Ennie's lobby that threw that giant cannonball?
I
That was a massive cannon. I'm pretty sure that was single cannonball carries.
no.
If he threw that at Water 7, it's destroyed.
I mean,
Like, if I were
yes.
Iceberg, mayor of Water 7, and I saw a man just whip out a giant cannonball out of his butt cheeks, which is exactly what happened, and he threw it the other direction, the amount of relief and sweat. I'm like, thank God Luffy got off the island. If he threw that at us, we're done. Like, what do you mean?
I think a full bombardment would be more damage
one
than
Garp,
Garp's
one
single
Garp.
cannonball.
Okay. Garp throwing the cannonballs is Garp.
Oh yeah, Garp throwing all those cannonballs. Yeah.
Like he single-handedly out.
One man buster
This is
call.
Garp. This is Garp. But I would just limit to he single-handedly threw one thing, and it's like that. My perspective is like, yes, if you had 100 ships all buster calling this island, and you had a Garp on one coffin of like a Mihawk thing, I would say that like if Mihawk showed up or this buster call, which one are you scared of? Mihawk, right? I don't think anybody's like gonna question that. And that's my point. Like this buster call is meaningless. I'm not saying Mihawk's meaningless.
You know
I'm
what's
saying that
funny?
there's so many powers greater than a buster call. The Seraphim S Hawk is scarier.
Oh yeah.
It split the island in half. Like
with the Mihawk thing, Mihawk was on the island while the buster call was happening, and if you recall correctly, in film Stampede, I think it was like a couple of side characters, like maybe Foxy and I think Wapple or something. Like they were running away from the cannonballs from the buster call, and Mihawk literally casually like moved his sword, and like 50 cannonballs just exploded in the air.
Yeah, and the bigger
Like,
threat
it just
wasn't
didn't
the
matter.
buster call. Zoro looked at the buster call and said, okay. And what was scary was the flying Fujitora that came and greeted him. And that wasn't that he was dealing with a smile. That wasn't the scary part. The meteor that Fujitora rained down was the scarier part than the buster call. And you know what was scarier than the meteor? Mihawk looking at the meteor and be like, that ain't shit. And then he just wiped it away. So we had many tiers above buster call that's scarier.
Douglas Bullet, even.
Like at that point, Fujitora almost buster called Mary Joie single-handedly. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, buster calls just aren't scary. I mean, and here's the thing. Here's a good, maybe not theory, but people are saying that since Sabo stopped the buster call in Stampede, that maybe he'll come here and stop the buster call too.
It was all set up. It was all set up.
Oh, imagine this. So in film Stampede, Sabo like made this straight line of fire to block all the ships from like shooting at the Straw Hats. Mm-hmm. So they're like, wait, what if I just came up with this one out of nowhere, but like, what if Sabo encircled Egghead Island in fire, and then it looks like we're cooking an egg from up top?
That would be
we're making an omelet bar.
Yeah, an omelet. Yeah,
that'd be kind of funny.
That'd be best timeline. That 100%.
Yeah,
best timeline where
further.
Sabo's here. Best timeline where Sabo comes up randomly.
Yeah, Sabo's here, and then he could free up Zoro since Sabo fought Lucci in a movie. It was filmed gold.
So
could happen.
Buster calls aside and memes aside, jumping from one meme to the next. When Kizaru, like, I love it when we talk about things like a chessboard and Kizaru says like, oh, the chessboard is balanced now. Do you see that we get more players on this board? Because there's a meme side of this, and then there's a reality side of this, and that's Blackbeard, right? A lot of people brought up Blackbeard still in existence somewhere here, and I'm not going to deny that, right? Me and you, we both have a stronger headcanon that like his activity here was the refugees. In your mind, does that discount like the other pirate, like Luffy and Devon still possibly making an appearance, or do you think that they're not at all?
So, believe it or not, Par, this might be a new concept to anybody still watching, but as the chapters go on, opinions change.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm still of my belief where I don't think Luffy and Devon are here. Mm-hmm. And even if they were here, I don't like those two characters. They're not people who I think could move the board in any certain direction. Like, okay, like let's say hypothetical, Lafitte and Devon show up in the middle of Kizaru, Saturn, Frankie, and Sanji, and then let's throw Luffy and the ancient robot in here since they're nearby.
Yeah,
and then Kuma and Bonnie,
nine vice admirals,
yes, and a buster call. Like Lafitte and Devon. This is gonna sound slanderous, but based on what we've seen of them thus far, could good change when we see them later and get a power up. Oh man, crazy. Characters grow.
They're
Uh,
awakened.
Weird
Yeah,
characters.
yeah.
Characters growing, man. No. I still think Luffy just beat the Sea King. But based on what we've seen thus far, I feel like if Lafitte and Devon showed up, they would honestly be the least of our worries. Like, I'd almost put the Buster Call ahead of them. Like,
Yeah.
like Lafitte, Devon, Buster Call, 30,000 Marines, and then I put like the 9 VAs, Kizaru, Saturn. Like, you have the whole list there, and I think Lafitte and Devon would be damn near the bottom.
Yeah,
Like, if it was Blackbeard or Shiryu or Kuzan, change that list, my man. I'd throw them up there, but just those two people alone, no.
Yeah,
I can't see
if
it.
Kuzan showed up, that's a different. If Blackbeard and Kuzan even individually showed up,
big.
Kuzan is just like, oh my god, can you guys stop? Like he would
Yeah, like Kizaru might just say, hey, honestly, I'm gonna take a vacation day. You know what I mean? Like, if Kuzan showed up and Kizaru has to fight Kuzan too, like he fought his friends, now he has to fight his brother in arms. Nah, dude, it's game. It's a wrap for Kizaru. He's calling it quits.
Kizaru goes like, the new year just came across. I got more
it's
PTO.
2024, man. Like, I got a resolution.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
Like, I'm gonna use my pay time off early this year. You know what?
And
like, oh my god.
Lafitte and Devon, like, even if they brought fodder, right, like Hachinosu pirates with them from their fleet, I still don't think that would make a difference because like, how many people could they carry? Like, let's say maybe 1,000 soldiers each, 2,000 Blackbeard, fodder, Hachinosu pirates. You have to remember, like, we have 30,000 Marines. We literally outnumber them. Like, not even the Straw. Like, the Straw Hats aside, like, Sanji could take care of them. Frankie, Usopp even, but the Marines would just actually squash Lafitte and Devon. Like, it's not even funny. It really isn't at this point.
Yeah, and when Kizaru says like we gotta wrap this up, like I'm on the fence now because like I'm like, is that a line? Like, is that the opening for Blackbeard where it's like, time to wrap this up and like things are closing out, and then boom, Blackbeard shows up, like, perfect timing for Blackbeard, and like Kizaru is like measuring the chessboard and thinking about that, and then Blackbeard's here to tip the board and one side or the other, or completely shatter it. And I feel like that wording and the way he's talked about it, and like even when Blackbeard was saying like Kobe's a bargaining chip, I feel like there's like nuance where he does show up, but like I'm still agreeing that like I don't think Blackbeard does show up. If he does, sure, changes things. But I feel like even if you added other Blackbeard pirates, it would be weirder. If it were like Blackbeard were here and the other pirates, or they took the refugees and they stayed, because that's the main thing. It's like the refugees ship disappeared, right? You have 100 ships. You have an encirclement. Sure, we can say that they're so incompetent as Navy sailors. They can't even properly do 100 ship encirclement on a single island, right? Yeah, sure. But the refugee ship apparently disappeared. They don't know where it is, and so like they just kind of like disregard it. I feel like that is a meaningful thing. Like, saying it disappeared is the same thing Luffy disappeared here, right? And like, like, is Luffy disappearing not important? I wouldn't say so. So if the refugee ship, well, I think it's like chapter 1068 or something like that, or 1076 or something like that. I forget which one it is. 1076 probably. Or 1079, whichever one. Where we see the refugee ship.
1079, I think.
Yeah, where the refugee ship leaves and then on the Blackbeard ship is going, then I feel like it's the Blackbeard ship took them. But then if the Blackbeard ship were anywhere in the proximity, how would 100 ships miss it? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, maybe the Shiryu is on here and we have the cracked ability of invisibility ship. So crazy, because in my mind that should work up to a certain extent. The ship would be invisible up until like the water. I feel like I don't know how that would work. Maybe it does work because like Big Mom has homie ships, so like he can maybe turn the ship invisible, and it's Shiryu here, but like Shiryu just got his head slammed by Garp. Like, I don't know the timeline of how that works. To be fair, we don't know the timeline, so Who's to say?
Who's to say, man?
Yeah.
Maybe Luffy shows back up and it's just Devon.
But
They kidnap Luffy. But why would
yeah,
they feed him though? I don't know. Like what, like is a plot hole with that one.
but in your heart of hearts, right? Be honest to your side. No
Heart of
agenda.
hearts.
Just like don't take any comments into consideration on this chessboard. Blackbeard, we talked about Blackbeard, we talked about other people, whatever, right? And like I'm sure he's considering Lucci and Zoro upstairs, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, like there's we got enough people up there, enough people down here, whatever. Do you think that one of the ways that the chessboard gets upheaved at this point, with all the new information since let's say chapter 1100, when this agenda was climaxing, do you feel that Dragon is still showing up?
Like during these events or just in
During
general, like
AK.
showing up?
Like, but okay, like in a meaningful capacity. It's not like just
Dragon
as a,
showing up meaningfully.
like not on the Ohara thing where he literally showed up like weeks
like
later.
days after.
Yeah, and then he like so late that Vegapunk translated with the giants like what was happening. You know what I mean? Or no, it was flipped. It was flipped. I forget what it was. But
so funny enough, like nobody's gonna believe this because I feel like the One Piece community has become not toxic, but kind of infested with the idea. And
toxic community? What? Crazy.
I mean, I call it. I'm a part of it too. I gotta acknowledge that myself. I'm self-aware. But believe it or not, minus me, like obviously joking about liking Momosagi and Bluegrass Vice Admiral and whatever. Like I don't view myself as having an agenda. I just have characters that I like, but like I said, I like to think of things. I like to think of all the possibilities. I'm not dismissive of certain ideas.
Yeah.
So I never consider myself as somebody who has an agenda. Outside looking in, maybe that seems different for
That's why
somebody who watches this video.
Without the agendas, without anything, do you
heart
still
to heart
feel that like Dragon has an opening here?
Dragon showing up. The stage is perfectly set for Dragon to get nothing but W's. Like really, like if there was any character that could benefit more from coming here right now, I would be hard pressed to find them because it would just be Dragon. Dragon saves Vegapunk. Dragon saves his son, which are two people that we know he cares about. He knows that this is happening because he's read the newspaper. Sabo, second in command, said he would drop everything to save Luffy because he does not want another Ace situation. Luffy said, hey, Sabo has his adventures. Sabo does not feel the same way. Sabo will intervene if Luffy's going to die. So yeah, I feel like Sabo has incentive to come here. Dragon has a lot of incentive to come here. The main problem with Dragon showing up is timing. Like we saw them last chapter, and I feel like we got some pushback for this because at least from what I recall, Saturn, is talking, and then we see Dragon on the side, and then people are wondering. They're like, "Hey, like, why do you guys think this is taking place right now? Like, surely this is taking place in a flashback." I'm like, no. From the way Oda does flashbacks and like the colors of the side panels, this is happening presently. So Dragon is literally like reading the newspaper as these events are unfolding. Dragon right now is like millions of kilometers away. Okay, millions is an exaggeration, but Dragon is nowhere close. To
the point that like the double spread that it's on literally says present time. It literally says it on and if we were to establish that and then change the time, you would kind of be like a few days ago or a day ago.
I didn't even pay attention to the narrator box, to be honest. I just used common sense and I said this is present. I just looked at the black and white Oda coloring the flashbacks differently. But yeah, it was presently. So presently Dragon is not here.
Yeah.
That is the hardest hurdle to get over. Just Dragon showing up here before the Buster Call goes through. I don't know. Like the time constraint seems so hard that I think Dragon just he can't show up. But I feel like if there was any character in One Piece that could pull a rabbit out of someone's ass cheeks, it would be Dragon.
Yeah.
Like so if Dragon could reach deep in there and yank something out, it would be him. I don't know how, when, or why, but I feel like as far as stocks, I'd give it like 55% yes, 45% no. Like logically, no. But Dragon has wind powers. Dragon has a lot of reasons to come here. He told Kuma that the revolutionaries are just about to act. And this is his saga. Like, you know, like there's no other saga for Dragon to act in other than this saga.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to do something, but like I said, it is a hurdle as to how he even gets here. I just have no clue.
Yeah.
But I am still leaning towards that, though.
And I like the way you answered that because, you know, a lot of people made the chapter 1100 agenda, which, you know, was news to me when it came. When I think you were the first person to like really tell me, and then I was like, oh, I kind of like the chapter 100, chapter 1100.
No, I liked it too. That was fire. That was fire.
That was like my more favorite part of it. But like a lot of people were, and I feel like this to me is a reason why I like that Oda isn't online. He's not like checking the thing, at least from what we know, to a larger extent. He's been doing this a long time. It's like when you have back-to-back chapters where you're like writing a story and then like you want to write a character favorite, right? And like he could do that. Other authors I think have done that, and like that's not a secret. But like Oda very seemingly like he had a way he wanted to write Dragon in this thing, and it didn't come off well to the audience, maybe spiraled more out of control than he probably maybe anticipated, whatever you want to say. But like a lot of the community was saying like, no, like Dragon needs to show up because like he needs to save face with his last few chapters, the flashback. And I'm like, that's like a community thing. That's like not an in-story thing. That should not affect like how like a story. Like I don't want Dragon to show up because we just had this like really weird showing in the Kuma thing. I say weird because it's like you can justify it, you can not justify it, however it is, but like that plays no relevance to the current thing because it's like the logic stuff they have to talk about, right? Like it doesn't make sense for him to show up, and we're getting more information that makes it less make sense. But for me, it's like the narrative stuff of like I get all the nuance, but like the Kuma stuff, if you want to say Dragon like appeared poorly there, I look at it as like, well, that was to set up Kuma and Bonnie. And that's what we're getting. Like, I don't look at that and like you see the amount of focus that we got of Dragon. It's very clearly not focused on Dragon at all, period. Like, the few chapters he didn't even speak. So like to say like, oh, Dragon needs to show up because like he looked bad there. It's like, no, but like I do think that him showing up makes sense. And for me, the reason why is because, and I brought this up in streams prior, is like, if he doesn't show up here where there's so many plot points that get tied up of like Luffy, Kuma, Bonnie, all being in one place, Saturn, Gorosei, Vegapunk, all in one place.
Even Kizaru, because they're brothers in arms. Robin,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Robin. Brother, you came up with good ideas. I didn't even say Kizaru, Saturn, or Robin. Like I didn't even bring those guys up. But yeah, like you said, Dragon
all
is
of those
set up,
people.
dude.
Yeah, he has
like
ties
there's
to all
so many
these people.
things.
Dragon could give us crazy nuance into Kizaru because like he was in the Marines, and like if you think that Kainu in him, it's like probably Kizaru too because he looked like he's been dressed as an admiral for 40 years now, right? Like, and I think he was in chapter 0. Yeah, he was in chapter 0 with like right. It was Garp, and then I think no, maybe I'm mixing it up. I forget. But anyways, the point being is like there's so many characters that are actually like 1 degree of separation, if not even separated from Dragon, that are all in one place, and you can't say that about any other place in the One Piece world, in my opinion, unless like you pulled out like Garp on Hachinosu, sure, right? And you could pull out Dragon's mysterious wife, sure, we could just make her up, boom, she's somewhere else more important.
I love that. We could just make her up, no big deal, no big deal.
Yeah, like, but you can't, no one can tell me that all of the like most important people are either with Dragon or on an Egghead, and that's important to me because like if we are going to get revs, if we're going to get rev lore, rev stuff, rev period, anything, I think it makes sense to have it in Egghead because Oda used Sabo and Kuma to bring us insight on the revs. We learn about the hierarchy. We learn about the vice captains. We learn about what the revs are doing in Merijois, in Egghead. We learn about Kuma's relationship with Dragon, with the revs in Egghead. All of that stuff seems set up to the revs. And that's why I'm like, it feels like a crescendo. It feels like that. But like then a lot of people think Elbaf is next. How I can tie Dragon, I can bring connection points to make Dragon relevant to Elbaf, sure. But there are the acrobatic loops that you have to bring up, like for Oda to write it in, to bring him there is a lot. Like some people say, like, yeah, but Ohara's there, Saul's there. Does Dragon even know that? Like, let's be honest. Like, he does.
What does he know and what does he not know? He doesn't know ancient weapons. He didn't know about the what was it? What else? There was something else, or was it just the ancient weapons?
Just there's so many things that he's feigning information of. Like some people are like, well, why would he tell us that why would he, even if he had that knowledge, why would he act on it? It's like, so you're admitting that, like, even if he did have the knowledge, he's not computing it in his 9 dimensional chess that some people think that he is, and I want to think that too, but I don't have the reasons to think that, because like when Vegapunk brings up Saul, it's like it seems like more of a secret, right? Does Dragon talk to Vegapunk? No. Like, he doesn't know Bonnie. I don't think he doesn't know what happened to Kuma. In all this time, he didn't think like, hey, I sent Kuma to Vegapunk, and now I have Kuma's lifeless body. Kuma, tell me what happened. Hey, Dragon, if you really cared, if you really cared, you could have just asked Vegapunk, no? Like, yeah, and maybe not you directly, but like you run the vast network of the Revs, right? He pulled that out of his ass. He's like, I'm gonna contact the vast network of our doctors and our legion to help you out, Kuma. And then he comes back, it's like, oh, by the way, Vegapunk, his base just got bombed, so like you could go. His security is famously low after his island in operation got nuked. Great advice, Dragon. Whatever the case is, right? For me, all the slander, all whatever, I don't care about the power. I don't even care about that. I don't care about him to get a W against Saturn. I'm just thinking like, yo, if Vivi's coming here, Vivi actually, her storyline introduced us to the Revs, actually. Because we found out from her dad that like about Dragon's Vivi's dad is the one who essentially introduced us to Dragon in Drum Island in the flashback or whatever. So it's like there's so many ties converging here, and it would make sense if it happened later.
And hear me out.
It has to happen here. It's so weird.
Going even further, one more thing that ties Dragon to Egghead Island is Bonnie. Because Sabo saw Bonnie at the Reverie, and Bonnie was like, hey, I'm going to Egghead Island. You take great care of my dad. So it's like, Sabo heard that. Sabo can easily say, hey, Dragon, I think Kuma's going to Bonnie. And where's Bonnie? Egghead Island. You know what I mean? Like, like we said, there's just so many things that connect Dragon here that it makes sense for him to come. We just have to get over the hurdle of how, though. I think that's the hardest part about saying that Dragon is going to get here, because everything is set up for him to just get nothing but W's, nothing but great development, great plot, but just how? Like, how is this possible?
Like, I'm almost imagining, like, you know how, like, I had the headcanon of when Kuma shows up with Saturn thing. Not saying I liked my version better, but like I was memeing about the Star Wars reference where it's like, oh, if Oda like Star Wars, maybe he does like, Bonnie, Luke, I am your father, and then Kuma's like, no, and then I thought he was gonna slap him down, but like we got this. Obviously, this chapter is amazing, right? Like, this could be set up for Dragon to do much of the same for Luffy, where it's like Luffy's dealing with Kizaru and the fight's going even, whatever, keep getting knocked. Now Saturn's here, and then Dragon, you know, the same thing, the ridiculous entrance that he had on Sorbet Kingdom, where no one could convince me that Kuma couldn't handle the situation on his own. He was just like, I don't know, pulling punches or something, because there's no world in my
King
mind.
Bakori beat him.
Yeah, King Bakori famously survived three lashings from Kuma, because Kuma just refuses to kill this genocidal monster freak, and Kuma's fighting like royal soldiers and gets detained after he's a buccaneer pawpaw fruit user who's like 40 times their size, and they detained him. Sure, right? And Dragon shows up like, I'm here now, boys. It's done.
Oh, what if Luffy sees the Bonnie Kuma moment, and then Luffy gets really sad because he never knew his dad, and then Dragon puts his hand on his shoulder, and he's like, I can do that for you, son, if you want. And then they like hug. Oh, that's huge.
Like Luffy's just like, is
Massive,
that what
dude.
a dad is? And then Dragon's like, what do you mean? I've been watching you ever since Logtown. And like, you didn't see me, son. Like, and then Dragon's like still saying it from
We could
very
call
far
this like
away.
the island of fatherly love, from Saturn to
Oh
Bonnie,
yes.
Bonnie to Kuma, Luffy to Dragon. Do we have any more dads here? I mean, I guess you're here. Like, I
Vegapunk
don't
is a
know, man.
father to
The satellites.
Sentomaru. Sentomaru.
Oh, Santomaru. Yeah, yeah, dude. Like, this is dad land.
Sentomaru tossed. I mean, Vegapunk tossed. He's like, "Hey, go sacrifice your ass to the father."
I adopted you, Santomaru. You gotta risk your life for me. I mean, I
Yeah.
only gave you food and clothes, man. Come on.
Oh no.
That's an
Oh,
Asian. That's
no,
like that's
no.
such an Asian thing to do. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. He
That's why
may.
when people were like, "Oh,
He
Vegapunk
looks
kind
like.
of twisted his arm," but I was like, "I don't know, dude. Vegapunk just might be Asian."
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, man.
Shaka is
That's some Asian
Asian.
that shit right there.
Shaka's gonna look
I
super
brought us to
Asian.
America. I work 5 jobs. I have a salon,
The
and
laundromat.
you're not going to college.
Oh no.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
no.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's some
like
Asian shit,
Dragon
dude.
showing up for the fatherly moment, I can see it. Like and then like what like Luffy's just like in admiration. You know, like when like Whitebeard came to Marineford and like Ace is on the execution thing. Whitebeard was impressive. He's dying and Ace is like, no, father, please, pops, don't kill yourself for me. Don't sacrifice Evan. And he's like, no. And then he flipped islands. He tossed people upside down. He cracked the fabrics of space and time, all for his son. And it's like, Luffy's like, man, fathers, they can do that for the son. And then Dragon's like, me too. And then you just see like torrential downpour, a tornado, and like Luffy spinning around in the thing.
Oh,
And then he hits us with the line. This is the line that I've been saying. I've if he comes up with this, right?
yeah.
Cole, King of Lightning, will be shaking his boots. Dragon does all that, and he goes, "Son, love is a hurricane." And then you just see,
Oh my God.
you go down and you see all of the ships around. They're in the eye of the storm, and there's a hurricane spinning
And then
out
Boa
everything.
Hancock shows up, and then Boa's like, "I brought you the food, Luffy."
Oh,
It all ties in, and then Smoker shows up, and he's like, "I also brought food."
this is
Yeah,
the last.
yeah.
This is actually the last arc. Like Oda was just. This is the war. This is the war.
Maybe like how like Kaido had like the top 5 of the verse. Maybe we're gonna have the top 5 of the food. Just people who brought Luffy food: Smoker,
Exactly.
Seraphim, Boa Hancock.
When Luffy brings out his next
Caribou,
Rashiman
Kizaru. Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
He says all the names. He says all of the names, and it, like, hopefully there's enough names to push out Pedro. Like, but like,
Oh my God.
sure, let's add
Dude.
Pedro.
You know how like Luffy after Ace died, and then Jinbei talks to him, and then Luffy's like, "I still have my friends," and he's like counting his fingers. Imagine him doing that, and he's like, "I still have my Uber Eats drivers," and then it's just all of them. Everybody brought me food.
Caribou is number 1. Like in the picture of Kaido's top 5, it's like Roger, Odin, Garb, or not Garb, or whoever,
Yeah.
and then like Shanks is weirdly in the middle. Caribou's just like.
No,
Like
no.
that, like
Imagine
Giga
like
Chad?
we see them from Luffy's POV too, so they're like super handsome and like Yonko level designs. Like Caribou looks like like an absolute monster. The Seraphims are aged up. I don't know. Boa Hancock has like a masculine face, looking like Big Mom. I don't, dude. That would be huge. I would love that.
Oh my God, that'd be big news. That'd be big news.
Big news.
So I think this is a good place to close off because people.
Yeah, where the hell were we going with that one?
Well, the big news thing, it was the segue, and then you kind of blunted the segue. You can cut it
Yeah, no,
out. and just
I
do the
meant to.
segue.
No,
But
that's great.
But do you think, because this was a lot of people's theories, that
Yeah.
the Saint Saturn gets hit, and that's the big news coming from Egghead. Do you think that is the news that gets
No.
perpetuated, or there's something more?
No, I think there's something more.
Something more.
Yeah, I don't think Kuma slapping Saturn is it. If anything, maybe it's Dragon also slapping Saturn. Maybe Dragon goes in, or not Dragon, Saturn goes in to kill Luffy, and then we see like this exact same scene but with Dragon. I think that'd be kind of nice, but
Do you want to know why?
I don't know.
think that's it.
Why?
Because like So like I was thinking about Saba Odi, right? Saba
Yeah.
Odi, like I don't know how much of the news left after Luffy hit the Celestial Dragon, but very obviously the Celestial Dragon hit Buster Call. They can't hide that. The news is there, right? So like the headlines, like Luffy, it's Celestial Dragon, whatever, cool, right? I don't know
Mm.
how far that goes, right? Afterwards, it's not like they said like, oh, Kid, Kuma, blah blah blah, all that stuff. They
So we're
didn't
not
say
gonna get
that.
like the nuance of what happens here, is what you're saying. We're just gonna focus on the hit.
Yes, except this chapter is so different because if we were to parallel it to Sabaody, the conversation would be, and this is fair, this actually did happen, right? I don't know if the headline was like Straw Hats attacked Celestial Dragons or Luffy punches Celestial Dragon. I don't know which one it was. I don't remember. Maybe there wasn't a thing, but Luffy hitting a Celestial Dragon versus Saturn gets hit by Kuma,
Warlord slave.
then hit by Sanji, then Swiss cheese by thing. Like, could you imagine the headline and then the bylines? It's like not once but 3 times. Can you believe this? It's like that's not looking good for the Gorosei member.
Yeah.
And like to be fair, in Sabaody, Usopp hit Rosewald in the face with his butt. I think Sanji kicked Charlia's hand and disarmed her gun. So like, but that wasn't reported. So like maybe that's the case here. I don't know, but like I when someone said that, I was like, yeah, a lot of people thought that before that like Saint Saturn would be hit, and at the time where we thought he was untouchable. But it's such a weird nuance now because at least Charlos looked like a bag of shit. And so like him getting hit and looking goofy afterwards, like that makes sense. But like Saturn did not look good. The portrayal is not good. I don't even know if he wants this to be known. You know what I mean? Does he want people to know that he got mollywop like this?
I don't think so. So that's why like I don't think this is gonna be the big news.
Yeah.
I feel like there's got to be something else later. Yeah, because like you said, he regenerated. Like unless he dies, that would be big news. But it kind of goes back to like I don't think Luffy would kill him. Like it would have to be like somebody else that kills Saturn, just because the Straw Hats and death don't really like go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody try to combat that, saying that Luffy killed Kaido by knocking him into the volcano, but it's like that one is open. I still think Kaido's alive. So I'm not like there. Yeah, I think he's alive and well. I'm not saying he's going to come back as the big bad guy like Onigashima 2.0, but I think he's still around.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Luffy hasn't canonically killed a single character. Oda has made sure to keep Luffy pristine in that regard.
Yeah. Except for maybe that one guy, that beast pirate that made him mad about like the starving Otama. That guy probably, if not dead, like severely crippled. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he didn't fight the rest of that war. He wasn't there.
Yeah, that guy, he's probably in the hospital. Like, Luffy gives people the Batman treatment, where you'll see Batman, like, knock people off buildings, break their back, like, shoot off their arm, and then they're gonna be like, oh, but he survived. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Batman
crushed his windpipe, but he's alive.
Famously saves all the antagonists to murder their fodder. Like, these fodder that are literally like, I'm just trying to make my paychecks. I mean, we live in the worst city on the planet. Man, it's hard.
Making ends meet. I got 5 kids.
Yeah. I didn't even know what I signed up for. I just saw a job description, and it was just a security detail. I didn't know it was under Joker. Batman's like, you should have thought about that twice before you signed up for a job you did an interview for. And it's like, what the fuck, Bruce Wayne? Like, can you chill?
Yeah, I mean, I to be fair, I don't blame Batman. They knew what they were doing. Like, if you sign a deal with the Joker, like, I'm not exactly feeling bad the minute Batman crushes your windpipe. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure this is a canon thing to multiple storylines where, like, a lot of the people would just sign up for security. Like, it was proposed as security, and they didn't know it was underneath Joker.
Penguin security.
Like,
Edward Riddle.
They're not rocket scientists, okay? They just need to make ends meet, okay?
Quinn Productions, interesting. Yeah,
also, they have secret identities. It's not like everybody knows who they really are.
The only people I would vouch for are the people who worked for Dr. Frost or whatever his name was, because he was like just a scientist, and then and then he turned bad.
Yeah, but Joker doesn't hire, like, come on, if Harley Quinn, if Margot Robbie.
Okay, but that's the thing. Joker doesn't hire people. Psychopaths just flock to him and say, hey, we want to work with you.
Yeah, but if Margot Robbie was the one who was doing the, I think a lot of people would be like, you know what? Fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
if I was
If anything,
single
Batman
in
need
the
to stop.
Batman verse, I'd probably be like, yo, like I can fix her.
Yeah.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I'd be one of those guys. He'd be like, you know what,
Batman.
maybe I can change Harley Quinn.
Like, I'm pretty sure there's many times where Joker's just like, hey Harley, get like the people, get a group together. Let's do this thing. And then Harley's like, sure thing, daddy, or whatever. And it's like every time it's like, yo, Batman just needed to take out his HR because Harley Quinn was his HR. And she's
But here's the thing, like, but Harley Quinn has such a crazy criminal history where if you sign up with her, even for security, like I really just don't feel bad if Batman destroys you and your family. Like, you know what you're signing up for.
I'm not defending those people in the same regard. I'm just saying that Margot Robbie would make people do crazy things. You literally said it.
I agree.
So like those people are different. Joker's father is different. Penguin had a normal operation for a while.
Yeah, just like a bunch of like, illegal dealers. But the thing with Harley though is that like, I could still blame them. Like, you know what you're getting into though. Like, yeah, you're being persuaded by her, feminine elements, but at the same time, like, I'm still gonna blame them. Like, I don't feel bad that Batman's like beating them till next Tuesday.
Because Batman also has the same issue. Batman is notoriously the baby maker, dude. Like with the same supervillains, the amount of beds that he has in his mansion.
Yeah, he's Batman's living a good life. I mean, wait, didn't he only bed like Talia?
I mean,
and Talia's like not exactly a villain. She is and isn't.
I don't know how much of this is canon because I didn't read like a lot of.
I'm about to look up who has Batman slept with.
But like in the animated, like the original animated stuff, it's like Poison Ivy was definitely like he had her tied up, and there was some crazy lines, and then it's like she would be like, remember like last time, and it's like it's a long list, right?
A lot of people. Whoa,
that's what I'm saying.
There's a top 15.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, it's the same thing as Spider-Man. A lot of people don't know that Spider-Man's the same way. Like, Spider-Man gets around, but Batman has no business with some of these people.
Nocturna, Becca, Chase Meridian,
some of these aren't supervillains. Some of these aren't supervillains.
A lot of these are not villains. They're like heroines. Jezebel, Sasha, Vicky Vale, Vesper Fairchild, Silver Saint Cloud.
Some of these
Black
are
Canary,
half villains. Like
Lois
a lot of the
Lane.
times, a lot of the times the girls are just the daughters of the supervillain. Like he sleeps with them.
Yeah, that's Talia. Andrea Beaumont and then Talia are the last two. Interesting.
Yeah, Lois Lane is wild. Superman heard it too. He heard it. Like
yeah. Apparently, Batman was, according to the article, Mr. Steal Your Girl. Interesting. I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, and so bringing it back to One Piece, Dragon can be Mr. Steal Your Girl. He could be Mr. Steal Your Dad too.
How do we even get there? No, that would be Saturn. Saturn stole away Ginny.
No.
Well, somebody did. Yeah. Sorry. Somebody did. Somebody stole Ginny.
A holy fellow. A holy fellow.
Yeah, holy fellow.
yeah.
I loved all the Japanese translators making fun of some of the translations out there last week.
There was no good ones, right? What's the proper translation?
I think they said that the Viz had the sloppiest translation out of all. And it's funny because I've seen the Viz getting a lot of heat recently, not even for just One Piece. Mm-hmm. Apparently their JJK JJK translations are bad. Like they actually like mess up names and mess up ability names and everything. And it's like, like the Viz ain't a hot like Viz official. I read only that one. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, like just thinking about it right now, the equivalent would be like instead of translating elephant Gatling gun, it would be like rapid big animal punches. Like that would be what the Viz would have translated.
Rapid animal trunk.
Yeah,
just something ridiculous. The Viz is they are falling off hard, which I'm kind of glad for. No, not because I'm wishing for their downfall, but I'm glad it's opening people's eyes that they should look at more than just one translation.
Yes.
not everybody's right. Human error is a thing. So when people read the One Piece official and they're like, whoa, like everything here is A1, it's like, nah, not really.
I think though.
And it's weird because the One Piece Viz had a renaissance where in the beginning, for the first like 600 chapters, it was a joke. It was so bad. And then somewhere in between chapter 600 and chapter 1000, people started looking towards it and saying, wow, this is a great source of like, you know, like this is the closest we can get to Oda. And then now people are realizing that not so much. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad we're finally like reopening our eyes, right? We're recovering from the lobotomy.
This is the biggest worry of mine was once we got the Gorosei chapters, like their names. I had that was the moment, and I talked about this on my one of my Twitch streams, that like that was the moment that I started putting way more emphasis on getting like Japanese resources, like Japanese professor to talk to, or like just friends, or like people who like live there. Also me like learning the katakana like actually, so like I could like read it and like on my own, like I could just look at it and then know it. But kanji is the one where it's like it's a little bit more complex to learn the way I am, and so like, you know, probably take a class or something like that. But like that was the biggest worry of mine. I was like, when I saw that, I was like, there's no like corporate pipeline where this gets correctly. Like this is so complicated. The equivalent would be like if we had Eminem, right? And I'm saying this very specifically because it's wordplay. Oda's doing so, and we know Oda's insane with the wordplay. That's why the translation is so hard. It'd be like taking Eminem, translating it, like transcripting his words, not like he doesn't write it, someone else transcripts it, and then they translate it in essence to Japanese or reverse, and you would miss so much on that because Eminem does wordplay that only works in English. You can't do half of the wordplay, if not all of it, in another language. You'd have to do changes, you'd have to skip. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it doesn't work that way. The same thing with the Japanese, and it's like and I think I'm very confident saying there's no proper one to the point where the Viz one, the slack that they were getting, I think TCB and OP scans sort of messed up the eighth wife thing. They both said wife, but like Viz said holy fellow, which was weird. The way they wrote it was weird, but they had the order down, and I think TCB and OP scans was the one that said like made it feel, and like you talked about how like when you read it you were like, oh, I didn't see it that way, but like I think it'd be hard pressed to say that a lot of the community did interpret it that way, that Saturn was saying his wife rather than that way. And then Viz changed the translation to very concretely say a wife of somebody else. And so like even in that nuance, it's like they could do good things or better things, but that doesn't even mean that they're 100%. In a good translation, they could still get things wrong. And that's why it's like we need every Japanese native speaker to rise
multiple sources.
We need, if you're in the community, I have like 4 or 5 regular Japanese speakers in my chat now, in my live streams, and I think there's some crossover. You have some too, and we need all of you guys to rise up, flex your powers, enlighten us. Whenever you see something a little bit crazy, say something. You know what I mean? Add some noise to it, because not more noise is better, but like I think more translations can be helpful, especially moving forward.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The fact that like as English readers, I think it's always important to know, hey, this feels a little weird. If as an English reader at this point, when we know it's a Japanese story and translated, and we're on and we're still saying like, huh, that was weirdly worded, wasn't it? And then we end up being right. That says a lot, you know, that says a lot about like the quality of what we're getting, right? So it'll be interesting what we see moving forward. More translation teams, the better, I think, right?
It's like when it's like I'm trying to think back. Crunchyroll was translating the Sanji and Queen fight. They said Sanji had Conqueror's Haki. You remember that one?
No, wait, what?
Yeah, so they were talking about Sanji's armament or observation. It was one of those things where Sanji was like being wrapped up, and then Queen was like complimenting Sanji's haki, but for some reason Crunchyroll said color of the Supreme King.
Oh shoot.
And then they fixed it.
See,
But they're
that's my
like, how did
thing.
they get this?
I had
What?
an entire
Human error
like
is a real thing.
no, Crunchyroll is another beast though. They just change the English. They don't even change the dubbing. The dubbing from what I've seen is what is the raws in the chapters. They don't go to the manga. They just changed completely. They just changed it completely. And I had a whole thing about the wings of the Pirate King. They changed it completely to arms. And people are like, well, Crunchyroll, Toei changed it to arms. Duh. Can't you see the correction? It's like that's a mistake. Listen to the Japanese. It doesn't say arms, period. And they're like, well, the title of the next chapter changed it. Oda doesn't make the
We sound
titles.
like bitter old men now. We're just like, ah, damn, I hate translators.
I don't even hate translators. I hate people who think that like somehow the anime is more source material than the manga. Don't get me wrong. I feel like the anime can add context. I feel like the anime can do that. But in no world will I'll ever, if the manga is very opposite to like what's happening in the manga or the anime, you hold the manga to a greater degree. Translations, everything. And the notion of that is ridiculous because Oda doesn't even touch the anime. He doesn't. He literally is like, yeah, that's what the director's there for. That's what the I forget what they're called. The media the source director is there for. He has like two of them or whatever. So
Yeah.
Oda doesn't touch it. Oda doesn't touch it. But you know what he's touching? He's touching the manga and hopefully 1105.
Touching our hearts.
Yeah, through the manga, he's knocking us up. So we'll see you guys on the
This
next
is
Knock
the
Up stream.
longest video we've recorded.
Hey, I mean, there was some pee breaks in between.
Yeah, we took some breaks in between, but
Yeah.
let me tell you, it's still well over 3 hours.
To be fair, there was like a solid 20 minutes when we just sat and looked at each other. We didn't realize that.
Yeah. We were doing taxes.
Yeah. And we didn't
What's it
realize
called?
we
I'm trying to think now. We got into this call like before we like started the video. We were like, oh, this is probably gonna be a short one, huh? There's not a lot to talk about. And then here we are, like almost 4 hours later.
That's how it be sometimes.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go take a nap.
Same.
Catch you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. And
Appreciate you.
hopefully you enjoyed the long video. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next chapter of One Piece.